you think there's some people who go straight into the ticket?
I'm sure there are.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello, hello, if you're one of those. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another day here of the group stages of the International 2015. Today, myself and Draskell will be covering Fnatic versus Navi here as the first series here on the third stream of the International. And, well, what a couple of big teams. Navi not having the greatest of times so far. Yesterday was a little bit of a disaster.
Yeah.
They did lose 2 series, one of them, of course, against Complexity, a team that a lot of people expected them to be able to take the series against. So I'm sure Navi, after that, they're going to come back with, you know, a fresh start, a little bit of a different opinion, but it is against Fnatic. Fnatic themselves are, well, pretty much in a similar position to Navi in
They're in the same position, actually.
It's pretty much bang on, isn't
They're
it,
both
points?
bottom of the group.
Okay.
Both
yeah,
of them are
right.
0, 2, and 2, which means that if you guys don't understand how the group is actually laid out, every time you get a win, it's a 2-0, you get 3 points. Every single time you get a draw and you go 1-1, you get 1 point. And then obviously a 2-0 or a 0-2 is you don't get anything. So right now, Navi and Fnatic are both the bottom of their group with 2 points each. So basically, one of these teams, if they want to even have a decent chance of getting into that top 4, being in the upper bracket, they need to 2-0.
This is, yeah, it's a very important match, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because this is going to define the difference between those 2 bottom ones. Fnatic and Navi, it's going to be interesting. I feel that both teams going into this, it's going to be even standings here. It's especially after Navi's performance recently. They're going to have to bring something quite spectacular out the bag to prove that they still have the power. And, well, 2 strong picks coming out straight away. They get themselves the Tusk and the Quap. Fnatic, of course, they do open up with that Gyrocopter, which we have been seeing a lot of success with this tournament.
I like the fact that Navi are kind of going for the ambiguous, like, Tusk Queen heroes, because we saw that yesterday. EG did something similar when they opened up with Queen. It just allows their laning phase to be that much more stable, and you don't have to worry about potentially getting that dual off lane. And Fnatic have already actually banned out Undying, so there's even, I would say, less kind of aggressive potential coming out from Fnatic already early on in this draft. But I really like when teams open up with heroes that actually can go for aggressive potential like picks, and they also have strong laners. Because yesterday, when we were casting Hot 6, it was pretty apparent that there was a glaring weakness in their draft, right? They had no way of actually starting engagements. And I always like it when a team makes sure that they cover at least a majority of their options, instead of just saying, we're all in on one aspect, and if we don't win the game by X point, then we have a really hard time finishing it out.
Absolutely, it's yeah, the initiative, and that's what's fun to watch as well, being able to see those big plays kick off with the playmakers. And Fnatic, they grab themselves the Bane, a hero that, well, probably almost certainly going to expect to see come up between these 2 teams, because you know, of course, Navi as well, art style. He's a big fan of the hero, can do a lot of magic. This time, though, Fnatic, they're going to make sure they grab it for themselves. Bans on the Earthshaker and bans on the Brood as well, not wanting Fnatic to sneak that one through.
It's pretty standard stuff so far. I mean, taking out Shaker from Seneko, that's always going to be a good bet, right? Like, that guy's been an absolute monster on it. We could see the Bounty Hunter also being prioritized here by Fnatic in the second phase. Between Bounty Hunter and Tusk, if you give a team both of those heroes, they're going to be rotating all over the map just trying to cause havoc in that early laning phase when you already have Queen, who's such a strong laner. So I like the fact that Fnatic, they're trying to run their, we want to make sure our cores have decent lanes at the very least strategy, which Winter even said on the analyst panel the other day that that's how Mushi likes to play. He wants to have all of his cores have an easy time, and even there was a game where I believe that they actually ran like a tri-core lineup, and as long as those heroes don't just get owned in their respective matchups, that kind of strategy can work out very well. So maybe they're looking to try to do something similar.
Yeah, indeed. And, well, we'll see what they decide to ban out here, Navi, with their 4th ban now for the side. I mean, as you were saying earlier, it's interesting about the Seneko. We've seen a lot of teams, when they go against Navi, literally ban out Seneko.
Yep.
It's kind of been a little bit less the case here. They do still, obviously, with the Earthshaker and the Bounty Hunter, 2 heroes that he does favor. But that Wyvern is still there and still available.
And they're going to have a chance to take it here if they want. I feel like Winter Wyvern is a hero that you can always fit into your draft. There's never a point where I feel if you need a support, that Wyvern is a bad pick. The hero brings so much to the table. The versatility, I think, is almost unparalleled. You have good burst with Splinter Blast. It's one of the hardest hitting nukes with the lowest cooldown. I think it's 7 seconds. And then you have a fantastic ultimate, which you can just cast on any hero, even with BKB. And in the late game, we've seen a lot of Winter Wyverns actually just get like core position heroes killed because of a good ulti. So I think that hero is like not broken, but it's definitely a tier 1 support.
Ooh, talking about tier 1 picks, well, Bloodseeker, a lot of popularity in the pub game, a little less in competitive, but still, nonetheless, we've seen it being banned out in a fair few series. This time, Navi are going to be able to sneak that one past it. Now, I'd imagine, I don't think they'll run it as a jungle. It's probably going to be the Havor's Bloodseeker, you'd imagine here.
I would guess. I think Dendi is pretty much the Queen player. Havor's probably has played Queen in the past. I'm sure there's been a point where they decided to just rotate the heroes around and say, you know what, it's probably better to just put something else mid in this case. But taking the Bloodseeker, I'm kind of thinking, okay, so there's a lot of disable already on Fnatic, right? Like, they have Bane, so you have Nightmare and Fiend Script, you get the Light Strike Array, you have high damage. I guess between the Tusk and the Bloodseeker, you can split it up a little bit. Like, if you're initiating on a Gyrocopter, you're not just going to eat that full Rocket Barrage. But I think the more important thing here is, when you're running Bloodseeker, you want a laning composition that's going to be able to win their lanes. Because if you win your lanes really hard, and you have good harass, that means you're going to get that thirst bonus damage. And if you're doing a safe lane Bloodseeker, which we kind of assume that they are right now, at least given the picks, that you're going to be able to just zone the offlaner just due to how fast you are and how much damage you actually deal.
Absolutely. And what I like as well from Fnatic, of course, as soon as the Bloodseeker's picked up, straight away with little hesitation, picking up that Lina house. He all around a good hero, but also kind of, well, pretty good against the Bloodseeker in the sense that as the Bloodseeker, you got to be very careful when you Blood Rage yourself because of the nuke potential Lina's got.
Yeah, you can very easily just go in and be like, I'm going to Rupture you, and typically you Blood Rage yourself, then you Rupture, because you want the maximum damage output. Sometimes you actually Blood Rage the hero that you're going on, in case you're like outnumbering them, but more often than not, you're going to do the former in early game scenarios, and like you said, you can just walk in and just die. But here we go. Another pretty common support that we've seen, at least thus far here at TI5. It's going to be Dazzle. I like it because I was really worried for Bloodseeker and Tusk trying to go into the heroes of Fnatic right now. I feel like between their control and just their damage output, they needed something that would be able to stay back and actually help them in the fights and keep them like high health with a sustain. You have that weave now, you have Shallow Grave, and you don't have to worry about your Bloodseeker running in and just getting annihilated instantly. And Fnatic, their answer to that is going to be the Wyvern. So we're looking at a core position Lina for sure. And I believe Fnatic are just going to need their offlaner, whereas Navi probably going to see that Havor's Bloodseeker.
Oh, it certainly looks like that at the moment in time. I was talking about Dazzle sitting in the back and helping out. Wyvern going to be able to do exactly the same there for Fnatic. The question is really, what is Navi going to pick up for this final pick when it comes around? Navi now looking to ban any kind of offlaner that they feel Fnatic might want to run themselves. Of course, the fact that they are running a Tusk, we do see Clock being banned out a lot. Okay, it's going to be another disruptive hero banned out. They're going to take away the SB.
It makes sense. If you look at Fnatic's lineup so far, they have so much disruptive potential. Like Winter Wyvern has Curse. You can Cold Embrace somebody who gets ruptured when the Bloodseeker and the Tusk go in. You have Light Strike Array. You have Bane, Gyrocopter's area control damage with Flak and the Rocket Barrage with the Call Down combination. My biggest concern right now for Navi's Trapped is that they actually lack Disable. They have a bunch of heroes who are very good at chasing and like running in, but they don't actually have a lot of lockdown. And trying to fight into Fnatic's heroes right now, I feel like they're all ranged. All of them except for Gyrocopter have an actual real hard Disable. So I'm kind of thinking to myself, are Navi going to be able to fight up against this during the mid game? I guess it depends very heavily on the lanes themselves and how much Havor's and this Bloodseeker can get and how well Dendi does mid.
Yeah, absolutely. If Dendi and Havor start to absolutely run havoc across the map, there's going to be the potential for a big kind of momentum swing to begin for Navi. But it's just finding their footing there in the earlier stages it's going to be the key to that. Navi now with this final pick, still looking for that secondary support, and wow.
Ooh.
I've got to be honest, so far in the group stage, I feel like we haven't really seen a lot of focus on IO either. Even in the banning stages, there's been a lot of drafts where it's totally been ignored.
Yep.
And it's gotten to the point where, as we're seeing now, they're able to pick it up as a 5th pick. Offlaner 4 Fnatic is going to be that Darkseer. But IO.
I think Navi are kind of all in with their strategy. They see the draft and they think to themselves, all right, mid-game, Fnatic's lineup is actually extremely difficult to fight into. So one of the good ways to circumvent that issue, like if we're looking at it on paper, 5v5, Fnatic, they have the advantage in my opinion. Especially with that Darkseer now and the Gyrocopter Wombo combo. And plus you also have Curse to synergize with that. Navi are going to need BKBs, or they're going to need to be able to create so much chaos with Wisp relocates and Queen ganks with Tusk that Fnatic are not going to be able to get everyone on the same page. Like, I think that's how they have to play this. They need to try to pull Fnatic apart with just non-stop aggression.
Oh, it's going to be really interesting to watch here. Yeah, with the IO. Always the potential for these pickoffs. And Fnatic, as you said, maybe looking more for that kind of team fight potential. And Navi going to look for those kind of pickoffs across the map. But nonetheless, let's see what we've got going down here with the first game in the first series here on the third stream of the International. Navi versus Fnatic, game 1. As we get ourselves in terms of lanes, I imagine it's pretty much going to be the standard. We're going to have the Darkseer off lane. You're going to have your Tusk off lane. Safe lane and tri lane is probably going to come out from both sides. We may see the Bane, Kessikimber, look for a bit of early kind of rotations. You know, we'll see where he likes to kind of put his presence towards the laning stage.
He might kind of sit around mid for a while too.
Yeah.
You can just be a nuisance, you know, get like either Enfeeble or you get Nightmare. You could just make the other mid not able to trade with you. And Bane has great early stats, right? Like 58 base damage with no stat items at all and 4 armor. Like he is an absolute beast when it comes to at least level 1. So right now, Fnatic just going for the jungle invade here. Probably just looking to get some vision up. Very common warding spots coming out here from both teams. And the lanes are super important for Navi as well. They need their Bloodseeker to get off to a very good start. And then the rotations coming in from Fnatic, they have to also be on point. They need to control the game from a very early point. Like, you don't pick Bloodseeker and Tusk and Wisp with Queen to sit around and do nothing, right? Like, Navi want to go super ham this game.
Yeah, and if anything, the eye is just going to help that. You know, as soon as we see that level 6 come online, they're going to be looking for pickoffs all across the map. And it is actually going to be a Hyo here on the Darkseer heading towards this top lane. So we might actually see Fnatic go a little bit aggressive here. Yeah, Jara's going to be heading down to that bottom lane, KYXY. Johnny and Kessik hanging around towards the mid lane at the moment, but I imagine they will need to go and help out the Jaro. It's going to be the Jaro versus this Bloodseeker lane. Navi themselves, they've got Funny Can Art Style on the off lane. Dendy towards the mid, of course, Seneko hanging around there. Might need to help him out indeed. Yeah, Johnny's going to stick around with Mushi, so we might see a bit of a 2-on-2 in the mid lane. But yeah, so the Darkseer being sent up to the top lane. Is this Fnatic kind of avoiding what Navi are trying to do? Who's coming out on top here?
I really think that this is the best possible situation for Fnatic. They see the fact that, okay, if Bloodseeker is up against an offlaner, and it's Darkseer, and there's one other hero there just constantly harassing. We talked about how important it was for the Bloodseeker to have lanes that are going to win. And by winning, you just want to have consistent harass, right? You want to keep the heroes low, so Havos can benefit from that thirst and be able to bully his offlaner. If Fnatic lane in this way, and they have 2 heroes in mid and bottom, they're guaranteeing 2 out of 3 lanes will win. That means the thirst benefit from Havos is going to be lower. You're also shutting down his farm in conjunction. And, I mean, Dazzle Tusk is not really going to be able to kill a Darkseer unless Ohio gets drastically out of position, which I really don't see happening in this matchup. So, for Fnatic, I think these lanes are pretty ideal.
Yeah, it certainly feels pretty smart from the side. As you said, Havos is having a lot of trouble here. Kessik just coming in with the slaps, forcing back the Bloodseeker. And space is being created very easily for KRXY to pretty much have free farm in this lane. There's not going to be anything the Bloodseeker can do to disrupt this Jaro's farm down here. He's going to need a bit of backup if they want to try and slow down Fnatic in that respect. Artstyle actually hanging around the mid lane now with Seneko, leaving Funnick on his own against Ohio. Of course, being a melee hero, it's not going to be too much fun up against this Darkseer. We've seen a few games where the offlane has been able to get a fair bit of farm. It's probably going to be a little bit less so when you're trying to do it up against this Ohio Darkseer. It's
going to be annoying CSing out of the tower, but we talk about Tusk a lot, and he needs, more than anything, he needs levels. Like, you want to just hit 6. We are going to see a haste turn picked up here by Mushi, but I don't think he's going to try to go for any early kill. And you can finally see Navi realize they need to rotate. Like, Artstyle's made his way towards bottom. He's like, I can't let my Bloodseeker sit down here and get nothing when the Gyro's going to free farm. And it even gets to a point where I think that Havos would be so underleveled and underfarmed that KYXY would be able to just solo zone him. And that means that Kessik can just start going somewhere else if he wants to try to like go for a gank on mid, for example, if they manage to find out that Wisp. I think Navi might have spread themselves a little bit too thin with the supports that they picked because they don't give you any options. They're both very defensive and no disables.
Oh, here we go as well. They know he's level 1. They know he's got the heal. No Shallow Grave available. Going in with the Rocket Barrage. There's your first blood. Johnny there to help out as well. And Fnatic just finding the opening perfectly there on the bottom lane. And I mean, that is your Dazzle that was sent down here to help out Havos.
Well, they knew that they couldn't like let things stand. Maybe the better option would have been just to have Havos do what he's doing now. I mean, he's rotated to the jungle. This is probably one of the only things he can do in this situation. Buy like a Quelling Blade, start jungling, but he's not even really able to do that effectively. I think for the time being, Fnatic are going to be more than pleased with the way the lanes are rolling out. And you can see Johnny and Imba are both just like, all right, he's in the jungle. We know where he is. We got vision. I think they might have seen him actually walk up there in the first place if he went through the lane at least. And art style, at least he's level 2 now. So he has Shallow Grave just in case something goes horribly awry.
And they've got some more backup coming in as well. So Neko is hanging around in the sidelines. Does have that bottle, of course. And the mid lane for Dendi, 15 for 7, 14 for 1. Slightly ahead there in terms of the denies. But again, Johnny just doing what he can. Disrupting the jungling here of Vorst with the backup of Artstyle. And just more and more space created for this Gyrocopter. They are indeed going in. Mushi looking for the TP out. Nothing they can do to stop that. And still just 1-0 on the board. And if I was Navi, I'd be very worried about this Gyrocopter, Andy.
I'd be worried about everything, actually. I mean, Darkseer and Gyro are both the top of the board by a lot. And you can see Ohio is pressuring so hard here on Fnatic, even with that bottle. He's got a salve. He's going to use his snowball to avoid taking a little bit more damage here. Is he actually going to die? Okay, jeez, that was close.
Oh, the salve actually gets cancelled as well.
He burns his salve, and now he's pretty much got to go back to base. Unless, okay, never mind. Seneko has a regen, so I guess he can heal him up.
Indeed. Just trying to get a bit of harassment out onto Ohio. Ohio is actually out of mana, no mana for Surge, but I don't think Ohio cares. He's just going to run head at them. He at level 6, pretty damn tanky. Not a fear in the world here for Ohio. And Vorst just desperately trying to find CS under the tower, but we are 5 minutes in, and he's only got himself 6 CS. This is a very poor-looking Bloodseeker.
Well, at the very least, he's getting some experience under the tower. When damage is dealt to enemy heroes, too, it's deceptive how Bloodseeker works, because obviously you want to farm on the hero. But if you find an opportunity where Fnatic have a couple of heroes that are low on HP, then you can actually start to run in and go for your damage, and then maybe you can kill. But the biggest concern is not even really the Bloodseeker not farming. It's the supports on Navi. They're too weak right now to do anything. Like, Seneko doesn't have an impact hero early like Shaker or Winter Wyvern that can actually go around and help you win the lanes. That's their biggest issue is they picked a draft that needed to win early, and their supports can't help them do that. They just don't have lanes that are strong enough.
Absolutely. It certainly feels like that from the side. But it's still early days, 6 minutes in. In the mid lane, Dendi's still having a pretty good time. 25 for 15. Certainly starting to break away here from Mushi's Lina in terms of farm with the backup of Snako as well. So I feel like a lot of this is going to be down to Dendi's rotations and what he can do for his team across the map.
There's so much pressure on him this game. If he doesn't have, like, perfect TP ganks and they start pressuring, like maybe you gank bottom, try to take out KYXY, or even killing a support at this point is going to be okay. Even if they have 2 heroes that are farming relatively well, the rest of their team is getting pretty much nothing. And even though Dendi is actually kind of, he's not owning mid, but he's doing very well. Like, he's 30 and 19. 19 denies up against Mushi, who only has 1 and 20 CS right now. A lot of that was because Seneko was sitting nearby, right? Like, he was helping harass, and that's the trade that Navi were making by having Habos just get absolutely nothing out of his lane. I mean, look, he's mid. Like, he has absolutely nowhere to go.
Yeah, he's certainly struggling to find someone to farm. Bottom lane, the pressure coming in. TPs are coming out from Navi. Looks like they want to try and go in with the defense. Moving forward, Kessick taking a fair bit of damage. Goes out with the Nightmare, now with the Brain Stab. Keeping himself alive, but Dendi here with the rotation will enable them to find the kill onto Bane. So, well, we're talking about the reactions from Dendi this time. Coming out to bring them on the board. They're going to find KYXY. Is KYXY just going to find Artstyle? They're going in straight away. Snako and Dendi are about. Dendi's still got the ultimate available here. This could be big. KYXY and Johnny, they're grouping up, and there we go. Sonic Wave, Dendi with the double kill. And this is exactly how Dendi needs to be playing to get Navi ahead of this game.
Thank God for Navi that Dendi actually made that happen. I'm really surprised that Fnatic decided to keep going on that. They saw 3 heroes.
Mid lane as well.
Too. They're going to get Mushi.
That's big. I mean, Tusky was level 7, had the Walrus Punch, catching out the Lina. And Navi, you know, they had a bit of a slow start. The lanes didn't look too great, but now the action's kicked off, and Navi are in their element.
Now, we knew that they wanted to go ham, right? Like, they picked these heroes like Tusk, Bloodseeker, Queen of Pain. They're not going to let the game stay stale. They're just going to create as much chaos as they can. They realize this is pretty much not just good for the way that their team plays in general, because I think that Navi thrive under those chaotic situations, but it's also what they picked. And this is even before Seneko is level 6. He's going to be around level 5 soon. And then we're going to start seeing like relocate ganks on top of the action that we've already been seeing, and that's pretty much where Navi want to be. They want to make Fnatic scared, like just to be anywhere on the map at all points.
Indeed, Ohio still finding a lot of space here on this top lane, pressuring the tier 1. But bottom lane, the rest of the side of Fnatic, KIXY able to destroy a tower. Now with the phase boots Aquila and the Ogre Club, this is going to be a very, very speedy BKB if KIXY's farm continues at this rate. 61 CS at 8.5 minutes in. Nearly almost perfect CS here on the Gyrocopter.
Well, we kind of expect that, right? He had a super easy lane. He was sitting there, and Havost was longingly looking at creeps and saying, I really wish I could hit those. The biggest things for me so far are the two core positions on Navi, like Fnatic and Dendi. Both of them so far have pretty much brought to the table what they absolutely need to, which is good rotations, forcing a reaction out of Fnatic, killing the cores, like both of them, Lina and Gyrocopter together. That is the ideal situation when you're having a bad laning phase to make a transition where you know that you're going to be able to get those kills going for yourself. And the one thing about Navi's lineup is they can't let up. They have to continue to look for those openings.
And Dendi's certainly going to do that 10 seconds before he's got the Sonic Wave available again. Top lane. Fnatic having to be careful as Ohio, Johnny and Mushi putting on the pressure. KIXY is going to actually join the cause here as well, looking for some more tower gold. And it's actually going to be Kessick being hunted down there by Havost. Dendi's there as well, Bane in a lot of trouble, looking for a neutral deny. Isn't going to happen. And this is another kill. Could be the beginnings of quite a queen game here for the mid laner, and he's going to look for Mushi. He's going to find it. Double kill for Dendi. This is his 5th kill. They also get the courier. And he's still got the Sonic Wave. Dendi looking for the wraparound. 3 heroes. Could he find the angle? Gets the Sonic Wave out. Only catches 1 here onto Johnny, but now with the snowball forward, they're going to burst down Johnny. It's an ultra kill for Dendi. 10 minutes in. He's absolutely outdoing himself here, Dendi. We were saying at the beginning, it's all about Dendi. Dendi's got to pull it out of the bag. 10 minutes in, he's doing nothing less than that. 7 kills on the board. Dominated the mid lane. This is, he was not happy with how the games went yesterday, and he's bringing his A game today, Andrew.
I really think that these types of games, where they rely on somebody like Dendi in that core position to bring their A game, like you mentioned, this is, I think, the way that their team has to play. When you have Dendi, you have to put him on impact heroes. You need to let him control the pace of the game for you. And it's being showcased right now that even in a horrible laning situation, where one of your cores is just getting completely snubbed, that it doesn't matter as long as Dendi has the room that he needs to pretty much just roll the game. And that's exactly what we've been seeing. So they get to tier 1 in the safe lane. Now Fnatic, they've lost a lot in the last probably 2 to 3 minutes. And we knew that Navi were going to play this aggressive style. It seems like Fnatic are just getting caught off guard by how mobile they actually are.
I mean, looking at the graph, as you said, those last 2 minutes is shown pretty much perfectly. Coming up to a 5,000 lead suddenly out the blue there for Navi. And notable what was on the courier. It was KIXY's Ogre Club.
I'll relocate bottom lane.
Oh, here we go indeed. Hitting level 6 on Seneca. They want to use it straight away, and Dendi, with the help of the IO, finds himself that pick off onto Mushi. And, I mean, this is classic Navi. Seneko is going to go down. Feet grip thrown out there by Kessick. Not wanting to let the IO get away. Fnatic with the ice shards. Isn't going to be able to catch anyone out. So they do lose the IO, but well worth it there for picking up the kill onto Mushi.
Yeah, without a doubt, trading mid for support. You're always going to be happy with that. They do get the offlane tower in the meantime, so I think all in all, Fnatic probably end up even in that trade. Just being able to get that tower off the map is always going to be nice. This is going to be non-stop aggression, though. Again, I really feel like Navi can't let up, because as soon as Fnatic get to their Wombo combo stage, and this is also prior to Johnny, he's level 4, right? He doesn't have his ulti yet. But one good vacuum, one good call down, one good Winter's Curse. That's going to be how Fnatic are going to turn these engagements.
Dendi, though, he's got his Yules finished at 12 minutes in on top of the treads.
Yeah, he is stacked.
This is incredible. And he's going to look for more. He's got the ultimate straight onto Mushi with the back of a Zeneko. Mushi's going to die. Kessick is not going to want to reveal himself here. It's a monster kill streak here for your Queen of Pain, 12 minutes in. And Dendi just continuing to impress.
I'm really, really happy with the way that Navi, like, they didn't panic too much with their laning phase. Sure, art style, he made one rotation. He goes bottom, dies here. We're going to see a snowball here.
Wants to try and go for Johnny here, but unlucky there with the ice charge. The cold embrace is there in time as well for Johnny. And he's going to be A-OK here.
It's very refreshing to see Navi able to recover from a laning phase like that. Because it looked really bad at first, right?
Yeah, it couldn't have been any worse, I don't think. Apart from the mid lane. Dendi was doing all right in the mid.
Mid was okay.
That's what counted.
The other 2 lanes were kind of struggling, but now, as it often happens here when you're watching Navi, it is very quickly becoming the Dendi show.
It really is at the moment, and we can see now Fnatic.
They got mech already.
Oh, on higher.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
they
is
do.
going to be a
farm
very
dark
strong, a very, very strong gank.
Yeah. I see what Fnatic can do with it. Heading towards the mid lane at the moment. You've got both Havorst and Fnatic here. Actually drawing the long route round.
Oh,
here.
they both showed. I think they want to try to go on this.
Wrapping around, they've got the whole caboodle. They still don't have the Winter's Curse, but they're probably not going to need it. They've got the Fiend's Grip, and Fnatic, he's going to get Fiend's Grip straight up. Cooldown as well. Nowhere for the Tusk to hide in the snowballs. That's going to be a pick off there for Fnatic. They're not going to be able to find a second one, but nonetheless, getting themselves a kill, which they certainly need to. 10-4 at the moment, still a little bit behind Navi, but Fnatic might look for a push off the back of this one, ready to apply the pressure in the mid lane.
And the other thing, too, is you can never forget that Fnatic's 5-man is ridiculous. Like, when KYXY has call down up, Johnny hits that level 6, he's very close, he's only 40 experience away. You have to respect their combo until your BKBs are out. If you don't, and Fnatic are 5-manning, you can tell right now that Navi, they're still very hesitant to try to fight into this because they realize it. And Mushi...
Oh, round the back, indeed, going straight for Seneko. Isn't going to be able to find the kill, and now he's been ruptured up. Havorst trying to turn this one around. Now he runs away because Mushi's been cold embraced up. They're not going to be able to find that kill. Where is Dendi? Dendi, here he is coming in. He's got the Sonic Wave available in a couple of seconds. Moving forward, he'll be able to take down Johnny already. Now with the Yules holding the Gyro in place. He's a little bit low on mana, but he's got the dagger. Now Havorst chasing down a well. KOIXY trying to TP out, but the damage is too much. Dendi now beyond godlike there with the double kill, and the rest of Fnatic just left to run away. Tvoni going to chase this one down with the snowball. Is going to find Kessick. The wall has been dropped by Ohio, and Fnatic actually taking a fair bit of damage here from the illusion, bringing him back as well. But Seneko is there. He's going to be able to relocate him out in 8 seconds if needed, but I don't think it is. Ohio is going to be the one to TP away. Havorst chasing down Kessick will clean up the Bane. And 14-5, Navi yet again taking a very nice fight against Fnatic. And Dendi, 10 kills, 2 assists. They just can't kill him. 1,600 gold in the bank.
I'm really... Like, I watched that fight and I'm thinking to myself, okay, Mushi goes in. He ults and gets everyone a little bit lower, but at that point they didn't have cooldown. Like, Johnny still wasn't level 6 and needed like one more creep wave. And I think that fight would have went a lot better for them because when you go in as Lina, you drop every single one of your abilities and not a single hero is dead. You pretty much have to run. And even though they're able to keep him alive with the cold embrace, the teleport reaction coming in from Fnatic realizing, hey, I know their ultimates aren't actually off cooldown yet because they got Fiend's Grip a little bit earlier, and the cooldown had been used to kill me anyway. I can just go in and kill Mushi straight up. And then once you're down a core, the rest of the Fnatic team, like, they need their heroes to pretty much combo together. If they're fighting isolated, it's going to be a significantly weaker draft. This is a 5-man team, and they need to remember that.
And they're certainly sticking around in the groups at the moment. They've left Ohio on this top lane to continue to farm, which he has been doing very well so far. He is actually, in fact, equal in terms of farm to KYXY on the net worth. Still at the top of the board, though, of course, Dendi, 7,200 at the moment in total. Fnatic's managed to find himself an invis room here, but it has, of course, been spotted out here. So Fnatic needs to be careful. Sentry been popped down, and Fnatic might just walk into this. Oh, the blink reaction just in time. Getting himself out now with the Winter's Curse. They want to kill him. He's got the snowball available, and backups there as well. Maybe this isn't the fight that Fnatic want to take. Cooldown coming out, catching a few of them, but there's your Sonic Wave. Onto 3, onto 4, in fact, catching Mushi at the clip of it. There's going to be able to find 2 heroes so far. Havorst is able to run himself away, and now Denny's going to look for more. Moving forward with Fnatic, they'll be able to take down Johnny here on the Wyvern, and now blinking forward for more Mushi. He won't be able to cancel it as the Yules is on cooldown. They do end up losing Havorst. But again, a 1-for-3 trade there for Navi. And Fnatic just seem to struggle to do anything against the aggression of this lineup.
They're just not able to get their combo going. Like, the way that Navi are taking the fights is so disruptive, and they're not ever having like a full 5 versus 5 clash. So even in that last engagement, the way that Johnny had to use his ult was suboptimal, right? Like, he wasn't able to get the combo that he really wanted going. And Mushi has had such a hard game that at this point, he's still only level 9. I mean, Dendi is level 11, almost 12. Keep in mind, level 11 is a massive level in terms of experience. It requires like 3 times as much experience to go from 11 to 12 than it does to go from like, what, 8 to 9 or 9 to 10 even?
Yeah,
so
there's
with that being said, it's just an ode to how much Dendi and the rest of Navi are just... If they were playing like this from the get-go, I don't think they would be the bottom of the group.
No, it certainly feels like just a totally different performance here for the team today, at least compared to what we saw them in all 4 games, didn't we, yesterday?
Yep.
And it was a very, very different Navi. But this time, it seems to be they seem to be in their comfort zone here. It's the heroes that they're working very well with, and the Dendi Quap, of course. pretty much, well, it is a flawless performance so far. 11 kills.
Oh, relocate top lane.
Indeed, they've spotted him out on his own. They want to try and do it. And KYXY, not the place he wants to be, and he's got to be very careful about coming out and revealing himself in these lanes. Maybe just forgetting about the IO here. And yet another kill here for the Quap. Might be looking for more. He's going to have the ult here in 20 seconds. And well, Fnatic's going straight in onto Johnny. Johnny's going to go down. Oh, Dandy clears that one up. He wants more for his scoreboard. And the scoreboard for this Queen looking pretty impeccable at the moment. And we were talking about Mushi falling behind. Just the difference between these two mids. Dandy with 13-0-4. Mushi with 0-5 and 2.
I'm not really sure. Fnatic, they have great high ground defense. That's one thing we can also talk about is if Fnatic keep getting bullied outside of the map, the one thing that they can always rely on is the fact that, okay, we got our huge wombo combo, and no one on the side of Navi actually have a BKB yet. Like Havost, he went Midas, then he goes back for the SNY. He wants to just get items that increase his farm rate, still allow him to participate in these team fights. But again, like even Fnatic being in this position, they still have an opportunity to take a good fight if they can get everything going together. And this is a 5-man smoke. They're all in the same area. Let's see what they can do.
Let's see what they can do indeed. But the Sonic Wave is available here for Dendi. He's going to look very careful for an angle, and he might just find it. And they're moving in, and now already Fnatic being scouted out. They're going to go in, but that's a nice wall. That's the combo that you need from Fnatic. They bring down Avors. They nearly find Dendi. Dendi's going to be able to buy himself sometime with the Yules. Will be able to blink himself out. Suneko there with a heal. There's your Sonic Wave catching a few of them. KYXY is going to be taken down. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Arstyle getting low. Will just be able to get himself out of the fight. Aisha's flying through. Dendi blinking himself away. Suneko now on the retreat. Funny going back in with a Walrus Punch there onto Kesikimba. Brings down the Bane. Dendi being healed up by Suneko. Ready to go back in. Maybe thinking about this one. Johnny and Mushi still around. Ohio in the lane, but now, yeah, Dendi blinking forward onto Johnny there with the with the dagger, and now ice shards as well. But here's Ohio bringing back Fnatic with a vacuum. Not enough damage now. Dendi holding Ohio in place. Now looking for him. He's actually turning around onto Dendi. Dendi getting low, but the weave now from Dazzle, giving him that armor buff. He's going to be A-OK. Fnatic finds Johnny, and now Artstyle just on the retreat. Dendi has TP'd himself out. It's just Artstyle and Suneko left around here with Fnatic, who's been used up. Could be in trouble. Light Strike Array. Looks like they'll find him. No! Shallowgrave just in time. He hasn't got a TP available here, so is he going to be able to get out of this one? And well, there.
No way! No way!
No!
Oh my!
Oh,
right,
KYXY with the cleanup, nearly getting away out of that one, Fnatic. But nonetheless, what a fight. Fnatic, they do find something. We saw the wombo combo come out, but you got to hand it to Navi. They were able to fight back through it, and the fact that they could keep Dendi alive and allow him to still do that in response, and he still hasn't died. 15 kills, 5 assists on the Quap, no deaths in the moment. Mid lane, Havorst doing Havorsty things here. It's going to be kept alive here by Suneko here with the mechanism. Maybe you're thinking about turning this one around. Dendi is about. KYXY has been ruptured. I don't seem confident in jumping in here. Lina has got Laguna. She hasn't got the mana to use it, though. They're going to leave that one.
Yeah, I think if they realized how little mana Mushi had, they would have jumped. He might not have seen it.
I think that they see it now. They see now the mana on Mushi, and they're going to try and go for it. But the Yules from Mushi is going to be on time to TP away. Very nicely done there from Mushi. He'll be able to keep his life intact this time. Dendi still 20 seconds before he's got that Sonic Wave available again. Just, yeah, I mean, we're 21 minutes in. This man's got an Aghanims and a Yules. It's getting pretty damn disgusting.
He's a beast. What else can you say? Even, like, the start of the game, when he goes bottom, he gets those 3 kills. He's already put himself in a great position. The one thing about Queen in this game is you need to make sure that you're always the one forcing aggression. And with that Tusk and the Bloodseeker, like, Havos has been, I guess, less active on the map than Dendi, but what else do you expect, right? Like, it's Queen of Pain. You want to be at all these fights. Another smoke here from Fnatic.
Let's see what they can do. Again, Dendi with the ultimate available. He's going to get caught out this time by the Yules. He might be able to duke this out with his own Yules. Yeah, he's going to use himself up straight away. Will allow him the time to get the blink out. So some of the combos already been dropped. Hasn't done anything, but now Fnatic, they found Artstyle and they found Havors as well. Havors getting low, but Havors gets relocated to the side there by Suneko to buy him some time, and now he's going to go back in with the Sonic Wave there from Dendi. Dendi getting free script up, getting low. Fnatic will finish off Kesikimba. They found Mushi here as well. Dendi just blinking himself out into the trees, out away from this fight. They did lose Artstyle. Now Fnatic going for more, potentially blinking forward. Found Johnny. Havors dropping down the blood right, and there's Dendi turning back up. Johnny with a cold embrace, but he's almost certainly going to die anyway. Dendi and Suneko looking in for the kill, will find it. Third hero there to drop on the side of Fnatic, and Navi just losing 1. More stats here for the Dendi scoreboard, and the game I really look at the graphs now. It's going to be a massive difference. Yeah, it's coming up to about 12,000. XP is a similar story. It's I don't know what Fnatic, they've got to look for just a huge wombo combo to turn this one around. We've seen them manage to get off the combo a couple of times, but it just hasn't been enough at this point.
Well, I think the biggest thing is when they went in, they Yules Dendi right away, and they just go for the stun on the Lina, right? But when you have Yules, if you just Yules yourself immediately after, it's like a 50-50 chance that the player either blinks away or just uses a self Yules after your initiation. So there, Mushi threw the stun thinking that Dendi might just try to go for a blink instead of using himself at a second time. But now you can just assume that Dendi's going to do that every single time. Like, just use the Yules to avoid the setup from the Lina, in which case you can hold your stun and cancel cast it and make him think that you're going to do it. And that way the stun will actually land the second time. Because once that combo is used, Fnatic's teamfight potential goes down the drain. Like, your call down is out. Mushi's already used his stun. He wasn't able to land anything really big in that fight. And the Fiend's Grip also got interrupted like immediately by Fnatic. He sees it, he blinks in, he goes straight onto the Bane, and he lets Dendi get out. So it's been a lot of close calls so far for Dendi. He's actually had 2 moments where he's been nearly dead and saved. Yeah. And I think that even in this position, Fnatic, they're showing that their teamfight potential is still so good that they can contest Navi.
Yeah, and they just continues to try and find this farm on KYXY. I mean, he's still doing pretty good, 9.4k gold. Yeah, he's picked up the recipe here for the Black King branch of the Ogre Club. But still just needs that Mithril Hammer. And he'll have that done on top of the SMY. Havor's farm, though, has started to skyrocket. He's closing in on his BKB himself after the Midas SMY. Just the amount of space that Denny's been able to create here for this Bloodseeker, meaning that Havor's now is top of the last hit board. And this is a Bloodseeker that has 6 CS at 5 minutes in.
His recovery has been pretty miraculous. It's a Bloodseeker, though, because the hero doesn't ever have to go back to base. If you're using mana to Rupture and Blood Right and go for the kill, then that's pretty much the point where you say, okay, now I got to go get mana or whatever. But as long as you're not being directly pressured all the time, you can farm for days. You get that Blood Rage going for yourself. You can accelerate your own farm rate just by having it up all the time. And like you were mentioning, too, Dendi has been pretty instrumental in allowing Navi to bring themselves back into this game after the first 8 to 10 minutes where the laning phase was not really ideal. I think Fnatic maybe just lost sight a little bit of what their lineup was actually built for. And then after a couple of really bad engagements where they were kind of split up, now they've realized, hey, look, we know our 5-man is really sick. So all we need to do is not get split up anymore. And then we can look to try to pressure that way.
We're talking about pressure, Fnatic trying to put it on here on this bottom tier 2. Navi themselves, they've got Funnick and Snake up here on the top. Tier 2 on the top lane already sitting at half health here for the side of Fnatic. Similar story here for Navi. And Fnatic with the pings out, they want to stick around here. KOXY going to go in and is going to look to try and finish off this tier 2. And it doesn't look like Navi are going to do anything in reaction to this. Some of the pings coming out, just warning out, see if any TP's coming in. But no TP's down for this one. They're going to let this go. And with that, KYXY only a couple of 100 gold away from that Mithril Hammer for the BKB complete. And Funnick does find the top town. Funnick, worth mentioning, of course, he did pick up that Desolator, helping him with the push. And is looking pretty damn stacked here on the Tusk.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with Funnick being in that lane where he was still able to get experience. I think teams are going to start to realize very quickly that this hero, although he does do very well with farm, there's no doubt about that, it's more about the early levels and being able to get to like level 6, level 7, get that max level of Ice Shards going so you can actually go for a kill combo. Because we were talking a lot about Dendi, but Funnick has also had a fantastic game. Like, he's 5-2 and 9. He's been very high kill contribution to his team. He was also the one who ganked Mushi in mid right when bottom lane they got those 3 kills that Dendi actually teleported for. So we said in the very beginning, Navi, they want to go ham. And that's pretty much what everyone has been doing outside of poor Havos. He didn't have a great lane, but now he's back on top of the net worth, man. He's good to go.
Yeah, he's right up there with Dendi, which is pretty impressive, keeping on the same level as a Quap that's got 15 kills and 8 assists.
Yep.
It just goes to show the amount of farm that Vorst has managed to find. BKB now done for him. Notable, of course, the BKB, of course, now done for KYXY as well. So we'll see if that's going to allow the side of Fnatic to take a little bit of a better engagement next time they look for the old Wombo. But, I mean, you got Greaves finished on your IO.
This is pretty terrifying for Fnatic. Because of the fact that BKBs are going to start coming out on Navi on top of the fact that Wisp has Guardian Greaves, we talked a lot yesterday about how every single team has a specific damage composition. So you get your pure damage, your physical damage, and your magical damage. Right now, Fnatic are relying almost 100% on magical damage. Between their Darkseer, the Gyro combo, and then you have Bane, you have Lina. And I'm pretty sure up until this point, yeah, Mushi does not have his Aghanims, so he does not have that pure damage Laguna Blade. Which means with BKB being available on this Bloodseeker, the only ways they can stop him are just that ultimate from ultimate from Winter Wyvern and Bane Grip. And KYXY is going to get ruptured here, but looks like Navi are more concerned with the tower.
And as well, this is going to be pretty key as well. If Dendy can hit level 16 before this fight, which he's only a few creeps away from, that's going to be devastating. That level 3 Sonic Wave with Aghanims. I mean, well,
not just that, but BKB and Dendy as well.
It's done. It's done indeed. I mean, I do not know how you're killing the Quap at this point. It's, I mean, Ags on Lina, it's a bit of a pipe dream at the moment for Mushi. He's got the point booster, 1k gold on top of it, but there's not going to be nearly enough pure burst damage or physical damage yet from the side of Fnatic to kill this Quap. I mean, I guess they've got the Winter's Curse, they've got the Punches of Jara, but still, you just look at the fact that you've got Snako. With Greaves, you've got Artstar. I literally don't think there's any way they're killing Dendy unless Navi go for a massive misplay.
The Wisp, in my opinion, is really smart too, because you mentioned the Winter's Curse and stuff like that, but you can actually relocate people out of a Winter's Curse. That's the coolest part about it, right? Like sometimes you see like people used to pick Venge for swap, you get your Shadow Demon for disruption, but Wisp just brings you to safety no matter what. And you have that insane health offset of the Wisp potentially double healing you with a tether, and then of course popping the Greaves on himself and whatever target he's going to. So that hero, it's kind of a Wyvern counter in a way. And if you can get that relocate in a team fight and then the curse is wasted, then all of a sudden Fnatic, they're down pretty much one of their biggest disables. And we saw how Fnatic, they don't have a very easy time functioning after that combo is thrown out. If they don't get kills with it, their team fight is pretty much already done. Like they just need to either run, or maybe they've done enough to where they can try to clean it up. But last time when they fought in the woods, that was not the case.
Oh, Dendy was pinging out to the side. Mushi is hiding there. Mushi is actually going to use up Dendy here, but Dendy just puts the BKB. He wants to fight. There's just Sonic Wave catching out KYXY, bringing him low. He's been Blood Rage ruptured up as well. There's the Vacuum Wall, though. They have lost Kessigimba on the Bane, and the Wombo is just not doing enough. They're going to put the Winter's Curse onto a Force. A Force getting low, but not low enough. He's going to live through this one. They have managed to find the Jara, and now they're going to clear up Johnny here as well. Again, Fnatic just throwing everything out, everything down, but finding absolutely nothing. They just can't dent Navi's lineup at this point with the amount of lead that Navi's found 30 minutes in.
It's just because the item progression of Navi is too fast. They went from a pretty solid laning phase to Dendy getting a really nice 3-man gank bottom, Mushi dying, and then they transitioned into kind of like this little sloppy skirmish fights where Navi, they want to skirmish. Look at their heroes, Bloodseeker, Queen of Pain, like Tusk. These heroes excel in small-scale engagements. You never want to fight these heroes if you're Fnatic, if you don't have everyone together. And I think they just gave away too much with their team fights. They said, okay, we're going to go in like 1 or 2 at a time, try to fight Navi, and then set up a combo. But by the time that happens, the heroes are already dead. And look at Navi now. They're feeling very confident. They want to go for this.
Yeah.
Fnatic are smoked, but they don't have Winter's Curse. They don't have Wall.
This is going to be a very risky engagement to take. They do get off a very nice stun, and they burst down Artstar. This is big. Dandy getting low will be able to get himself out. Now the snowball going for Mushi, but there's just Sonic Wave turning up. KYXY moving on to Dandy, trying to do what he can here with the BKB. Buyback now coming out from Mushi. Havorce just turning to KYXY. 1v1 mate. Dendy on the back lines. Bring KYXY low. Will be able to bring him down. Dendy now blinking forward on pretty much zero health. Pops the BKB. Has got the Aegis here, but that's the BKB used before the Aegis. Johnny on the high ground. Dendy, he knows it. I think he might just go for this one. Hasn't got the scream for a few seconds. Johnny with the golden embrace, and now Mushi trying to set this up with the Yules. Dendy, he's going to need some help, and there's the help. The gang's turned up. They're going to bow with a Walrus Punch onto Mushi, and that is a die back here from Lina. They're stuck on the high ground here with the wall and the Winter's Curse. A fair bit going on to Dendy, but he will be able to blink away. Havorce kind of stuck up here. He's like, guys, can you get me out of here? He is stuck in the trees. The higher will go up, and with KYXY, they do kill Havorce. Dendy able to get himself away, though, with Snako. Have a look at the fight recap there. So it is, what, 3 for 3 effectively, but that was with 2 buybacks and a dieback from Fnatic. And you've got to remember, all in all, at the end of the day, Dendy still doesn't die. He loses the Aegis, but still his life intact. 16 kills, 12 assists, been involved in 28 of the 32 kills this game.
When he dies, he's going to give him like 2k gold.
It's going to be a hell of a lot of
his death is actually just going to be like 2,000 gold
to
one
hero.
Mid. Here we go mid, yeah.
Indeed, they found KYXY. So he's got to look for the TP out. Will he be able to get it? Yes. Just gets himself out.
Yeah.
Nothing to stop it there for the Magic.
Yeah, not very nice reaction. Obviously, pop on the BKB, just trying to get himself out of there. I'm looking at Fnatic right now, and you saw that team fight, right? It was a 3-man or 4-man vacuum into a light strike array that I believe hit on 3. Imagine if Johnny had Curse for that. Like, they would have crushed that fight. It's just insane to think about that even with a 20-plus kill deficit and the fact that right now Fnatic are behind in excess of 20,000 golden experience. Fnatic in the meantime just punching Bane to death. That damage is real, but even with that kind of a deficit, they can still manage to take fights. Just imagine if Fnatic had been a little bit more disciplined about how they take their 5 versus 5 and maybe just grouping up a little bit sooner. As soon as they got that mech on the Darkseer, they wanted to start trying to make things happen, but their fights were just, they were a little bit too sloppy, and Navi took full advantage of that.
And the money's starting to rack it up for some of Navi's members as well. Fnatic, 2.6k gold on top of the Shadowblade Dessa. Artstars managed to pick himself up a gem, has that amulet towards the Glimmer Cape. And Havors now with a Hyperstone, possibly going to be looking for an AC. I mean, it would be very nice to help them out with this push. Very effective, of course, in these big 5-on-5s as well. And Dendi with 4,200 gold on him. I mean, what do you expect we'll see from Dendi? I wouldn't be surprised with the amount of fights we're doing that we see him just go for the Octarine.
It could be Octarine. A lot of Queen of Pains have been favoring that item after you already have Aghanims. Makes it so your ulti is up like pretty much every single creep wave. And I think it puts your blink at 4.5 seconds, which is extremely fast. You could go Hex as well. Oh, no, okay, it's Shiva's.
Okay.
Yeah, Shiva's is still really nice too. Because with the Shivas, you're not really worried about the gyrocopter right-click anymore, which can be a bit of a problem. And if you get cursed, which is a high possibility, because Dendi is a high priority target now because he's freaking 16-0. If you do get cursed, there's less likelihood that you're going to die because you have that extra armor. So his physical damage mitigation is going to be quite a bit higher than it was. And that's also a Solar Crest too.
Oh man, I mean, Fnatic, they're going to try. They have got all the ults available, but indeed, Fnatic just going straight in onto KOXY. They've got the Cold Embrace here, buying the Gyro some time. Linking forward here, Ohio really want to look for the fight. Dendi's popped the BKB, looking for a Sonic Wave straight onto KYXY. He's popped the BKB, but he's incredibly low, backing himself, but they have found Fnatic here. Fnatic kind of caught on the wrong side of the fight, but Fnatic with a Warrior's Punch, bringing KYXY low. Laguna Blade does finish off Fnatic. Cold Embrace there from Johnny, topping up KYXY, and looks like, yeah, Navi, I'm going to be too happy with that. Losing a hero, and this time not being able to find anything in return.
A little bit too ham, you know, just a little bit. Sometimes you just want to go for a kill and you say, you know what, I'm going to go all in on this. Didn't end up working out there for Fnatic, but I think Navi are going to be fine with that. You can't give away too many of those kills to Fnatic because the Gyrocopter late game is still very scary to think about. And Curse, it only gets better as the game goes on. As the heroes on the enemy team scale, Winter's Curse becomes that much more scary as an ability. And then you have Mushi, who, I mean, I got to think at some point the guy's going to finish his Aghanims, right? Like, he's within 900 gold of it, a little bit under that now.
He's going to have it soon, but yeah, it certainly is
but
not the time he set out for.
Yeah, Lena's Burst is still going to be something that you're going to have to respect because only 2,000 health, it sounds like a decent chunk, but against Fnatic, if you get caught without your BKB, you can still die very easily.
You certainly can. Bloodseeker, of course, now just about 100 away from finishing that recipe and getting himself the Assault Cuirass here as well. Dendi, as yeah, he's going to be able to have the potential to finish off the old Shivas. Just needs to get that Mystic Staff on its way. KYXY, what's he got coming out to him? Just sending the curry out to the Secret Shop. 1,900 gold on him at the moment. What's he going to opt for as his next up? Okay, so he's actually going to pick himself up a bit of invasion here.
Yeah, it's going to be Butterfly. Yeah, Butterfly is nice. With BKB popped, if he doesn't just die to the Queen Burst, having that extra evasion means that they, like, all linning on him becomes a bit more dangerous. Evasion is fantastic, especially when no one on Navi is going to be buying MKB. If anyone, it's probably going to be Havos, and it might be his next item after he sees that KYXY has picked up that Talisman of Evasion in the first place. I believe Fnatic are trying to do something here. They're all grouped up on high ground. I'm not sure if they're waiting for Navi to pressure or... There's only one hero showing right now, so they could be anticipating some kind of gank and just sitting on the high ground to make sure that if Navi are going into their woods, that they would be at the positional advantage. But now I think they're just going to go ahead and back off. Yeah,
we did just see some pings coming out from Navi around here, so maybe questioning whether there was going to be a movement from Fnatic down through the jungle past their Secret Shop. It's not going to be the case, though, and Fnatic, nonetheless, won't be able to catch Navi off the back of anything. Dendi, Seneko, and Artstar just hanging around towards the bottom. Vorst and Fnatic are now heading towards mid. They need to be a little bit careful here. They've spotted out KYXY. And I think, yeah, they're going to keep themselves safe here. It's going to be very hard for Fnatic to catch anyone out on Navi.
The other thing, too, that's frustrating for Fnatic now is the Wisp factor that we haven't really said a whole lot about. I mean, sure, he's been ganking and stuff, but just the fact that you can play off-map like this, Fnatic have to play such inefficient Dota. They're all stacking together all the time, which means that they're not like split farming lanes. They're not doing what Navi are doing, which is, oh, well, we can just split up and do what we want to do. And the other issue is Fnatic normally in this situation, they would want to smoke to try to find somebody because they probably assume that Dendy is still free farming and Seneco's most likely just following him around. But they don't have any vision on Navi's side of the map. So a smoke is always an inherent risk when you don't have that vision laid out for you to be able to say, okay, well, at the very least, we know they're not going to be here. Their only ward is on their side of the map. It's on that high ground on the way to the Roshan pit from the tier 2. And Navi now feeling like this is their time.
I mean, now Mushi does have that Aghanim Scepter complete. So we will see that big amount of burst pure come into play in the next fight. But is it just a little too little, a little too late? Oh, we'll see. Oh, Navi able to pressure. There's 2.2k gold now on your quad on top of the Shivas. Dandy continuing to look incredibly scary for the side of Fnatic. But Fnatic, as you said, really good high ground defense. It's going to be interesting to see how Navi go about breaking the base.
They probably just go for Roche. They have a... No, wait, that's Fnatic's courier, right? Yeah. Fnatic's courier was scouting Roshan. They just want to know when it's up because there's a high likelihood that Navi just immediately bolt for the pit. Oh, no,
KYXY. He goes out. He's going to put the BKB. He's found a few of the side of Navi. But now he's ruptured up. Dendy's still got the Sonic Wave pure damage to burst through this if he wants to, but Ahayo's there with the mech to back him up. There is the backup of Fnatic, and Dendy trying to get himself in position for an ultimate there. There we go. KOXI and Johnny caught out. Fiend Script now from Kessick holding Dendy in place, and they have lost Funnick on the side of Navi, so it's a 1-for-1 at the moment. Dendy being kept safe and topped up here by Artstar here with the Shallow Grave, and Dendy blinking forward. Takes down Bane, and that's going to be the gem recovered as well here for the side of Navi. 3 heroes hitting the deck on the side of Fnatic. Ahayo and Mushi just left in the base here. It's going to be a buyback from Johnny, realizing they've got to do something on the defensive here.
What can he do, though? There's no buyback on Gyro. I mean, the Bane can buy back, but there's no Fiend Script. There's no Curse. I think Navi just racks them here.
Well, with this AC on her Vorce, they're doing an incredible right. There's your vacuum, but there is not a wall available. Splinter Blast doing quite a bit. Her Vorce getting low, but Seneca, the amount of sustain that Navi have at this point, incredibly hard for Fnatic to fight into. And Navi just go back onto the melee racks. They should be able to claim this one. Still 30 seconds before the gyro's back. Dendy going forward. Will get used up here by Mushi. Looks for the stun, but again, Dendy there with a counter use, using himself, dodging out the stun. And they will clear out the top set of racks here and get themselves out as well. Oh! Avos!
Goodbye, Avos.
Laguna Blade to the backside. Mushi not happy with that. The fact that they took the racks and punishes the Bloodseeker. So they do get at least that off the back of it. But that's a set of racks down. More kills for Dendy at 4,600 gold. Let's have a look at his net worth now. 21,000 here. He is a good... Well, the highest net worth on the side of Fnatic is your Darkseer. It is quite a difference here between the two sides. We're at a 30... I don't think I've seen many games where it's been a 30,000 lead. And the team that's behind are still kind of in it.
Yeah. But that's why I was so concerned for Navi at the start of the game. Because I'm looking at Fnatic's lineup and I'm thinking to myself... How do you actually fight that? Imagine if it was only like a 10k lead or a 15k lead and maybe Mushi had like one more item or KYXY had a butterfly and even just some lifesteal. The difference in the team fights would be massive. I mean, they're going for Roshan. This is kind of a last-ditch effort. They realize that Havolst hasn't bought back. They know that they have an opening here, and they need to try to do something about it. And their option is here to kill Roche, maybe force Navi into an engagement that could not favor them.
He wants to go for it. There's your ult.
Oh,
Kessick's down. Ahio will be able to get off the mech now with the Warrior's Punch from Funnick. Funnick being held in place here by the Winter's Curse. Dendy hitting onto Funnick now with the Laguna Blade onto Dendy. Dendy's going to be fine, able to blink himself away. Funnick just scouting out and chasing away KYXY. It was actually the relocate, from Seneco, bringing Dendy out of the fight. Almost only going to bring him back in. Funnick taking down Johnny here on the high ground, and there's Dendy. Brought back in here by Seneco after Seneco did save him from any further disaster. But 2 heroes down. Fnatic, they were looking for the play in terms of getting Roshan. It's not going to happen. And Navi now go into the pit to finish off Roche themselves, claim themselves the Aegis. And this might just be the ticket to closing down the game here if Navi want to go for it down the mid lane.
That's most likely the last nail in the coffin, as they say. There's kind of this weird feeling of Fnatic. I liked their draft a lot more this game in terms of what they were able to do in their 5-man. But Navi just outplayed them so badly. Every single point in this game, it was always them on the aggression, just making sure that they could find kills like
straight
this.
in with the old 1-2. That's Kessick down on the bane. KOXO popping the BKB, but he's got to sit there. Ruptures on him, throws down the corner and trying to fight. There's nice vacuum. Sonic wave though from Dendy, blowing them up. It's God beyond God, like double kill for Dendy. It's a team. It's over. This game is well and truly over. And Dendy, you said it being the Dendy show. This is a classic Dendy show game. 20 kills, 15 assists. Doesn't die at all. I mean, the rest of the team of Navi, big shout-outs to them. They all played it pretty impeccably as well. You look at Seneko. We'll see in a minute on the scoreboard. The amount of assists this guy had on the IO, very impressive play.
He only died once.
But I mean, just Navi, after a pretty horrific day for them yesterday, certainly are turning up to this, and they're ready. They are ready to go. And it seems like Fnatic just left in tow here, and we're going to see if Fnatic, of course, can step it up for Game 2, but Game 1, well, what a match for Navi.
I'm very impressed the fact that they're able to have... They had 2 pretty bad days back-to-back, right?
And yeah, it's not been a good start.
They come into this group stage day and they say, you know what? We're done with that. We don't care. Fnatic is a team who took a match off of Secret a little bit earlier on in the tournament. We're gonna bring our A game. We're gonna play the game that we want to play, and we're gonna make it work. And that's exactly what they showcased here in Game 1 against Fnatic. Fnatic, I wouldn't be upset with the way I drafted the lanes. They were good. The draft was good. It was all about play, being on the same page. I don't know if it was communication issues or what, but it really did not seem like Fnatic wanted to play around that 5-man early enough, at least, for how they actually drafted their heroes. So maybe next game, they'll get a little bit more coordination going between them. Maybe tie up the series 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see if Fnatic are able to swing it around. So, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere, because Game 2 between Navi and Fnatic will be right around the corner. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second game here between Navi and Fnatic. We're ready to get ourselves rocking and rolling after a Game 1 in which Navi looked pretty damn unstoppable, Andy.
I still want to say that Fnatic's draft, I really feel, was better, almost in every single way. But I don't know what it is about Navi, but whenever they need to perform, when it's down to the wire, they always manage to just bring the best possible Dota that they can, and they showcase it there in Game 1. So moving on here to Game 2, Fnatic, that had to have been a little bit of a wake-up call. I'm sure Mushi is sitting there and thinking to himself, I know that our draft was good. There's no way that it should have gone that lopsided, right? So we just have to assume that they overperformed, or, you know, they had a really good game and we just didn't have our communication quite on the level that we needed it to be. So as long as they keep like a calm mindset, go into Game 2, try to execute their game plan a little bit better, I think they'll be A-okay.
They're going to have to do something different, because whatever it was in that game, as you said, even with the heroes that essentially looked to be the right picks, it just wasn't enough. This game, Navi, they're going to ban out the SF, they're going to ban out the Quap themselves here. So not going to want to pick it up there. Even though they do have first pick, interestingly enough, they're not going to want to do a repeat. They're going to try something different from the Dendy Quap. Let's see what they go for. Fnatic with the second ban, taking away that gyrocopter. And the question is, what do Navi open with? There's obviously a very large number of strong heroes still in the pool. You've got your Tusks. Then we may be looking forward to seeing it as the first pick. Of heroes, sometimes between Navi, they do like to get themselves the Wyvern themselves straight up. We saw Fnatic, of course, running it with Johnny. Maybe this time Navi want to take it. A lot of Seneko heroes here. Not a single one has been banned out. They might want to pick up the bounty straight up. We've seen a few teams pick up the bounty first, or maybe even the Shaker, if they're worried about Fnatic getting that one in the first 2 picks. There's a lot of options. Anyone else that you feel that Navi... Okay, it's the Tusk.
Yeah, it's the Tusk. It's the most stable opening, I feel.
Yeah.
Because you know, at the very least, you can get Seneko's hero if you want, because you know you can get one more hero before the second ban phase comes through. So if you want like Shaker, which Fnatic might just take here, depending on how much they like the hero. But you can get your Winter Wyvern, or you can get your Shaker for Seneko as soon as these two picks come out. And Fnatic, they're going with the Undying Bloodseeker. And I think after the first game, maybe they want heroes that don't necessarily have to do like the whole 5-man Dota thing. Maybe that's just not how they function best. But instead of prioritizing what Seneko is going to play, they go straight up Naga. I mean, I know a lot of teams are highly prioritizing that hero so far here at TI5, but I don't really think I've seen Navi play it that much.
All right, it's going to be interesting to see how Navi run with it. I'd imagine, is it going to be in the support capacity? I don't think it's going to be a Vorse Naga, is it?
I don't know if I've seen him play it in a long time. I know he does play it, but I'm fairly certain it's going to be support. Yeah. Like I think it's going to be support.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe it's another one of Seneco's magical heroes that he's going to suddenly turn up and play, or they'll put it on art style. We'll see.
I think it would be a Seneko hero rather than art style, because art style typically plays like
hard 5.
Plays
the 5th, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing a Seneko Naga if that's going to be the case. But we'll see how they do decide to run it. Third ban now for the side of Navi. I mean, you're up against the lineup. They've picked an Undying. They've picked a Bloodseeker.
Navi, right? Because Curse is amazing against Bloodseeker. The hero has high mobility. It's a good disable that pretty much just... You can get Bloodseeker killed so easily with Winter Wyvern. It's another reason why heroes like Shaker are also good, because you want heroes that can stay very far away from the fight, who can still disable the Bloodseeker from that distance and be like, okay, now, even if somebody gets ruptured or something like that, you have your Naga Siren Song, you can put him into Snowball already, and then if you get one more good peel mechanism, you're going to have a lot to deal with that Seeker.
Darkseer is going to be the ban, and looking at obviously what Fnatic had in the first game, you could I'd probably say Darkseer was definitely one of the strongest heroes they were having, because I believe it was probably top of the net worth at the end of the game as well.
He was.
Haya really knew what he was doing on the hero, and well, Fnatic this time going to ban out the Lina. Pretty much the same reason why Navi did the first game. They've got a Bloodseeker. They don't want to be worrying about that burst damage on top of the Blood Rage coming in.
They have so many setups too for Light Strike Array already. Like they have Tusk Snowball. You can get punched. You can get netted. Even like a Naga Siren Song, if you pop it and cancel it properly and you have your timings down, you can land the stun like right after the song ends. There's a lot you can do with that combo, so I do like the fact that they take it out.
I wouldn't be surprised if Navi themselves take the Dazzle. You know, they've got the Naga, very nice with the illusions. They've got the Tusk. It is the wombo combo. Fnatic probably need to ban it, I feel.
They could ban Wyvern and pick Dazzle. Because they had the first pick out of the span phase, right? So if they want to get their sustain
or vice
with
versa.
their Undying, yeah, they could do either.
Nice. I think, you've got to touch up on the Dazzle and the Wyvern here at this point of the draft.
See if they're feeling that. See if they want to just... Oh, they banned the Bane?
The Art Style Bane, and they'll grab themselves the Mushi Storm. Now, Navi, in response to this...
That actually makes Wyvern an even better pick, actually.
Well, for Navi, for Seneko.
For Navi, yeah,
or for Art Style,
because they already have two heroes that are considered highly mobile. And again, that's an instantaneous disable coming out from Wyvern. The problem is, if Seneko is going to be playing Naga, then they pretty much can't pick it, because then he can't play both heroes. And I'm not sure if Artstyle is very familiar with Wyvern. Because Artstyle is the Dazzle player. He's not the Wyvern player.
No, he is the Dazzle. Dazzle of the team, which, as I said...
So maybe that's why they're ignoring it.
I think Dazzle's going to be very nice as well with the Razor as well. With the amount of physical DPS, you know, going into the fights with the physical eye of the Storm. And so that will almost certainly be a Vorst Razor. So it is looking like Seneko Naga. Fnatic now with this 4th pick. They're going to take themselves the CM. Come on. We're talking about the Dazzles and the Wyvern. Come on, give us one here.
I think it's much more likely Dazzle than Wyvern.
Yeah.
Just because, again, I mean, it's not like Wyvern is super high skill cap, but Seneko just plays it so well. Maybe they're throwing us for a loop. Maybe it's going to be mid-Naga.
I mean, I guess the thing is, though, if you pick Dazzle, I mean, is your lockdown good enough to deal with heroes like the Storm and the Bloodseeker?
It's a different style of play. It's not revolving around having that lockdown. It's more about winning your lanes when you have that hero.
I think it's
and it's going to be Dazzle. So that is pretty much not guaranteed Naga support, but a very good chance.
Yes.
That it's going to be
certainly looking like it. Certainly looking like it. I mean, we're still imagining Navi to be looking for that Dendi playmaking hero. There's no...
Puck is actually really solid here.
Puck would be very nice. I mean, we're talking about, controlling heroes like the Bloodseeker and the Storm. So Dreamcoil very nice with the BS, and Waning Rift going to be helping out with the Storm Spirit. And especially when you look at squishy heroes like CM and heroes like Undying.
Oh, wait, they think it's mid-Razor. They just banned Slardar.
Surely it's a Force Razor.
It could be mid-Razor up against Storm, because that matchup is actually very favored for the Razor. And then maybe they think it is Coronaga.
Okay. I mean, Slardar, of course, would have made a lot of sense if they did want to run it as a mid-Razor because of just the synergy with the Razor and the Dazzle. Yeah. I mean, even the Naga, you know, with the Riptide and armor reduction, that is a lot of armor reduction across the team. I mean, you're going to be able to blow up the side of Fnatic in a couple of crushes and a couple of fishy slaps.
Yeah, you get wrecked really hard. Like, just amplify damage, and you also get minus armor from Eye of the Storm, too. Can't forget about that. So heroes like Bloodseeker, who typically want to try to run in, you kind of just get you get owned real hard. So Brood ban coming in from Navi, just a safety ban more than anything else. And Fnatic, they're going to get their hands on a last pick bounty between the Storm, Bloodseeker bounty. We talked about last game how Navi wanted to go ham. I think Fnatic kind of want to try to do the same thing this time.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we see teams do a lot of the time in terms of when they lose a game like that, they just say, well, okay, we need to try something different. And Fnatic doing exactly that. A totally different play style to what they were going to look for in the first game.
I still think Puck's nice. If they don't want to run mid-Razor. If they want to run mid-Razor, then they either need to pick a core or another support, depending on if they're comfortable playing that Seneko Naga or not.
Let's have a look. This is going to make it a lot clearer for us. And there we go.
It
is the Puck. You called it indeed.
No, I called 2 in a row. I almost went for the turkey there. I called the Dazzle and the Puck.
You did, you did.
Yeah.
I'll take 50%. You know, I'd like to say I called the Dazzle. But
well, we talked about the 2 heroes, and then I was like, it's much more likely that they would pick Dazzle because...
you did. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that. But
we both get 1 point.
But lineup-wise, I'm liking what Fnatic are doing. I'm liking the fact that they're changing up the game from game 1.
Yep.
But at the same time, you look at Navi's lineup, and it is very, very strong. And we're going to see Seneko Naga, which I've not had the pleasure of casting a game for before. I don't know if it's just me missing games in which he's played it, but I'm not aware of it being one of the heroes he goes to.
I don't think he does it very often.
No.
I'm sure he's played it before, but I don't think that he does it too much. They usually like putting him on like playmaking supports in the early game, like we talked about Wyvern and Shaker, because his awareness and his understanding of like how to move around the map and gank is insane.
Yeah.
So being able to get those heroes is nice.
And yeah, talking about how good Seneko's awareness is going to be, I mean, that's going to be fantastic with the Naga song. Yeah. I can expect to see some spectacular stuff coming out in terms of the ultimate. But we'll see how this one goes down here with Navi versus Fnatic here in game 2.
Where are they? He's got a stout shield. Is he farming?
Where are we looking?
Seneko. Or maybe he just buys stout shield because he wants to be annoying in lane. I guess that's also a possibility.
Yeah, surely.
Because I'm pretty sure when Aoi plays Naga, he doesn't start stout shield.
I mean,
it's very uncommon.
I can't imagine being in a lane with Havor saying, I'm going to farm over
He's
you, mate.
He's going to support Razor, you know? No big deal.
That'll be the day.
It's a weird starting build, that's all.
As you said, I guess it makes the Naga very, very irritating in lane. You know, that's 6 armor. Hefty bit of base HP as well. So Seneko's going to be able to go in with harassment. And Navi at the moment, looking for the rat round. And we go with the good luck, have fun. And Ohio with the ball spost in response. Navi able to secure themselves by looks of this bounty run at the bottom, because the side of Fnatic looking towards the top. Lane-wise, I guess we're pretty much going to see high on that off lane. Johnny hanging around there potentially on the bounty, and so we might see him trying to help out mid. It is going to be Mushi on the mid Bloodseeker, so it is going to be the safe lane Storm being played by KYXY, of course. And Navi, likewise, it's going to be interesting to see what Seneko does, but Fnatic, for the most part, is going to be on his own on the Tusk on the bottom lane.
I think Seneko might chill down here with him. I think that's why he probably bought that stout shield. So, again, it's going to be another 2-1-2 coming out from Navi. And I like this because their heroes are actually very level dependent. Like we talked about Fnatic's Tusk in game 1 and how imperative it was that he got that level 7 when he did to make sure that he could, go around and gank Mushi. So I think that it's really good that Navi are going to be able to set their lanes up in that way 2 times. But mid, it's going to be a bit of a struggle here for Dendi because this is like the ultimate nuisance.
Oh man, the Blood Rage bounty.
Look at how much damage he just took.
That's smart.
Would you say it's so smart?
I'd say that. I like this is smart. I mean, anytime the bounty comes in, I guess you'll still see the cast animation of Mushi be like, hey, who did he blood brace? So it gives away the fact that the bounty's there, but still.
It doesn't matter, though.
It comes in and out. A few punches and Dendi's down to half health.
If he hits you like 1 or 2 times with that on, you're wrecked. There's not really much you can do about it.
He's going to go for Havorst here as well, and Havorst with a couple of decays on him. Again.
Look at how much damage that does, man.
This is the bounty hunter being a bounty hunter. Reason why a lot of teams like to take him out, because he can be an absolute nuisance in the laning stage. And already Navi just dropping down the sentries. They do not want Johnny being a part of the mid lane.
Yeah, it's very common for this kind of stuff to happen, though. Fortunately for Navi, they also got a good D ward. Like, the first sentry they dropped, they actually got a high ground ward on their side of the river that was dropped by Fnatic. So, for the early game, at least, they're only going to have one ward worth of vision, and I'm not sure...
Havors to get 3 decays on him. Tombstone's dropped. He's only got 378 health.
I think he's dead.
I think he's incredibly dead. He's not going to be able to take down the Tombstone. Trying to go for the runaround isn't going to happen. And John... Oh! Artstyle will find the return kill onto Johnny. But nonetheless, losing the roaming bounty, getting yourself first blood on the position 1 Razor.
The thing is, since he actually died to creeps, and bottom lane, gonna see another dive here.
Yeah, going in onto KYXY, could be in a bit of trouble here. Trying to turn this one around with the burst damage is not going to be quite enough to bring that. Oh, maybe. Oh
my god.
KYXY gets the kill onto Fnatic, and he gets out. Damn.
That base armor, like Storm's base armor is the only reason he is alive right now. Storm has one of the highest starting armors for an int hero. Actually, he might have the highest in general for like any ranged int, but that is painful. I think him and OD are definitely up there. And they underestimated his tankiness, and it cost him.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of start that Fnatic want. You know, last game wasn't the best of starts in terms of kills. They did have a good, strong laning position, but now, kills on top of it as well, 2-1. And Havors, of course, needs to be careful, because Johnny's got his eyes on him. Bottom lane, bit of a fight. They're going out to Kess again, but this time, Navi able to find the Crystal Maiden in the jungle, and they will get that kill without losing anything in response.
Oh, I was wrong, by the way. Techies is the highest. I forgot about Techies. But he doesn't count because he's a, like... No, we don't talk about Techies. We'll just say that. But Johnny is still managing to make a lot of stuff happen here around the map. You can see him just being annoying here to Artstyle and Havos in top lane. I'm just really, like... I'm a little bit worried right now for Navi's lanes because, unlike last game, I don't have that sense of Fnatic need to 5-man this time around. I feel like they actually have multiple ways that they can choose to play this. And, I mean, Havos has 10 CS right now. That's not really that impressive for 3 minutes in.
Oh, he's certainly struggling. He's got the backup of Artstyle now, though, here in this lane. Johnny, though, going for Artstyle here. And now the Tombstone's being dropped. Kessig's coming in as well. Artstyle's got to run. He has got a Shallow Grave available. He's not going to get the chance to get it off, though. Dazzle to fall. And the rotation from Kessig, very, very nice indeed. Mid lane, how's it going? What?
Mushi is crushing
this is a ridiculous
but there's
lead
nothing,
for Mushi.
There's nothing Puck can do. That's the thing. Like, this matchup is so lopsided in favor of Mushi, without a doubt. And considering his other lanes are also doing well,
yeah.
In the previous match, we talked about Havos and how he needed his other lanes to actually try to deal damage. But if that happens for Mushi, he just absolutely dominates the lane. Like, there is not a thing that Puck can do in this matchup. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't actually just die.
And well, we see Johnny at the moment hiding around here. He's going to find himself Artstyle, just with a quick slash. And now, of course, Fnatic, they're going to realize that Havos possibly on his own. They've still got Kessig around. Johnny's making his way back up with a haste rune. Havos needing to be careful. A high oak Tombstone back and available. Havos has got to be very, very careful where he treads here, because they're ready to go, and they're going to go for it here. Havos in a lot of trouble. Tombstone drop. There's going to be a TP coming in from Artstyle. Will he be able to get the Shallow Grove off? Yes, he will, just in time. With the TP as well coming in from Snake on the Naga, it might be enough to save Havos. No! CM there with a final right click. Just in time, timed perfectly against the Shallow Grave. Will find the kill. And here comes Johnny looking for Artstyle. No, he's not. He's going to leave it. Johnny's not coming today.
For now, Fnatic definitely the ones winning laning phase. Bottom lane, KYXY. He's in some trouble here.
Right, he's not getting himself out of that one. Will go down. Fnatic and Snako working as a team there to bring that one out. Fnatic able to save back up as well. 4 for 3 at the moment. And this is certainly stepping up to be quite a game here. Mid lane still. Dandy struggling against Mushi. Mushi about a level ahead now, halfway through 6 compared to Dandy's halfway through 5. And the CS, 34 for 13 against 14 for 0. A very different story to what we saw Dandy perform in the last game.
Well, again, it's a lopsided matchup. You're not supposed to win this. Even in a circumstance where it's just a straight-up 1v1, Bloodseeker would probably win like 9 out of 10 times, given equal player skill or whatever, right? So the fact that he's not died is actually kind of surprising. Normally, a Puck will just get chased down behind a tower. Thankfully for Denny, though, He's got boots already. He's got his 17 charge wand, and he will be A-okay, at least for the time being. Then top lane, Johnny. He does not want to give up, man. He just wants to try to go for kills.
Cassie's coming in as well. He is going to have to back up, yeah, Johnny, to remove that static link. Mid lane, Suneko coming with the wraparound here, and Dreamcold drops as well. Mushi in a lot of trouble. Has got the Blood Bright out, though. Doesn't matter, though. They'll lose the Bloodseeker. Maybe they can find something off the back of it. Looking for Artstar, but Artstar will get the Shallow Grave off. Ohio's turned up here, trying to fight through this. Has dropped down the Tombstone. Artstar sticking around, trying to get rid of the zombies down the Tombstone. Not going to happen. Artstar to full Funning, trying to get rid of the Tombstone. He will. Funning just able to get himself out. No! Against CM with these right clicks. Kesikimba. It's just too much for Navi. Second kill there for the side, and oh, they're going to look for more. Ohio moving forward. Suneko, he's coming a little bit too far. That's a double kill for Ohio. Ohio's just destroying them. Look at the decay stack. He's got
1,300 health in 7 minutes.
This man's a beast. 7 for 4. The Undying doing so much in these fights. 3 kills and 3 assists on your Ohio Undying. 6 of the 7 kills he's been involved in.
He had so many decay stacks, it actually didn't show them all at the very end. They wore off now, so he'll be getting back to his normal amount of HP, I guess you could say. But he's got Arcanes and almost an entire mech at 7 minutes. He's second highest in terms of last hits right now. His net worth is reflected as being the highest by 500, even higher than Mushi, who is completely dominating middle lane. This start here for Fnatic it's insane.
Yeah, this is Fnatic pretty much reading Navi very nicely and doing exactly what it takes to come out on top of them here in Game 2. Looking a lot more hopeful for them. Ohio and Kesik ready to go for some more action here on the top lane against Dendi. They found Suneko though. Suneko could be in a lot of trouble. Tombstone's dropped. They're going to try and chase this one down. Ohio is held back, but with the rupture, Suneko, he's got nowhere to run. At level 5, there's no chance of a song. He goes down. That's going to be the Naga falling yet again. 8 for 4 pings now on the tower. Dendi hiding behind in the tree line here. Is there going to be any kind of reaction from Navi? Or are they just going to let this one go? You can see Johnny there did spot out Artstar, but the pressure just being applied by Fnatic on this top lane. Dendi's got the Dream Coil. Fortification coming out, but I don't know if they can fight this there. It's going to be the Naga backup. And okay, they are going to do it. Dream Coil's drop. Mushi's popped down the Blood Ride though. Running with the snowball dodge here. Mushi getting low. And will they be able to get the Bloodseeker? Yes, they will. That's the Bloodseeker down. Now Navi looking for more, looking for the Crystal Maiden. They'll find Kesik as well here. Funnick, he's got himself this haste rune, looking to chase down more here potentially, but Johnny, he is up with the invis. There's no sentry down here in the river. Navi, no sentry. Yeah, it's just towards the mid lane that Navi have got the sentry, so Johnny's going to be able to get himself out. But 2 kills there for Navi. They do lose the tower, but they are able to get the deny.
Yeah, the deny is big. You want to keep the Undying away from his mech as long as you can. If Ohio finishes up that mech, and then they just start doing 5-man if they want, or even just running around with the Undying mech and Bounty Hunter with the Bloodseeker and CM, you don't have to have the Storm actually help out yet, which is great for KYXY because in the laning phase, he was actually getting shut down maybe even harder than Dendi was. But now, since Fnatic have started to rotate around the map, force Navi to react to them, he's managed to recover his farm quite a bit. So he goes from dying in lane once. He did get a return kill the first time, or just straight up a kill without dying. That was nice, but other than that, he was struggling. So any recovery time they can give him to this point, there aren't really a lot of disables on Navi for him. It's really just the puck.
No, mid lane. He's going to get ruptured up. Fnatic are ready and waiting to start this fight. Going on to Funnick. He's a little bit tanky here on the Tusk. But under the Tombstone, he's going to have the Snowball that will give him some time. But I don't know if there's any saving Tusk here. Comes in, looks for the punch on Kesik, bringing him low. Won't be able to find the kill and does lose his life here, Funnick. Boss thinking about going in, but the Tombstone's still there, and he has not got any mana. Half health as well. Not the time for the Razors to be fighting. Suneko as well now has hit level 6. So maybe we'll see a few more of these engagements going in favor of Navi if he's able to find the opening for the ultimate. Now mid lane, Fnatic able to claim themselves this tower, and this time there won't be a deny in sight.
They got the mech 2 on Undying. This is a really scary point in the game for Navi. The one cool thing that you mentioned is, because they have Song available on Suneko, they can use it to stack Weave once Art Style hits level 6, and they can use it to stack up a static link. So if you link somebody and you actually start singing, it doesn't deal damage, and we're going to see Johnny here actually get picked off by Dendi. It's a killing spree for him here in the bottom lane. But there are a couple of cool ways to synergize Song. You get mass damage drain, and then you can start things off with a snowball. And that's kind of similar to the combo that we saw Complexity do early in the morning yesterday when they were initiating with that kind of thing, and then they just used the toss snowball.
Being chased down here by Havorst and Dartstyle. He's going to try and run. He's going to try and hide. Gets himself up to the high ground. Havorst, he's got a plasma field in a few seconds. Kessick with the jukes. Oh!
He's still dead, I think.
He is indeed. He's able to dodge him out, but the plasma field, you're not dodging that one. And I'll take down Sihan. Blink Dagger now completed on Dende Arcade Boots on the Naga as well.
And Navi are still very much in this. They just need to be very coordinated about how they take the next few engagements. Like, they're going to need to go for picks. I really think they need to avoid trying to fight around the Undying, too. Ohio's farm is just insane. He's still the highest net worth. Almost 12 minutes into the game. This offlane Undying, he is a beast.
Dende here was looking for the courier. And,
it's a bait.
Bit of a courier bait. Indeed, Ohio's coming in here with Johnny, but Dende, with the blink, with the orb, should be able to get himself out to safety.
Okay.
He's fine. The pings come out here. They realize he's in there.
Johnny had Shuriken, though. I think if he had just walked up and continued to chase, they probably would have been able to kill him.
I guess, well, the Naga was around. Seneko was there with the song. It was always available if they felt it was necessary. But, of course, it's always very nice at this point of the game to force out the song because of the long cooldown.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes at level 1. Yeah. It's pretty insane. So, more pressure being applied here by Fnatic. They realize that this is their big power spike moment. They got that Undying with the mech available. They got track now, too, on Johnny, which is going to be great. We just saw it showcase there on Dende a little while ago. And they can see pretty much everything that's going on. In a 5 versus 5, I have a hard time thinking that Fnatic would lose. Like, they have Blood Rate, which is great for control. They got Rupture. They got Mech Undying. I think that taking 5-man or even just, like, pressuring towers is very easy for them. But, again, unlike the game number 1, they don't have to play in one specific way. Because they have Storm and the Bounty Hunter, they can just kind of create space by playing off-map. Like, Johnny just walking around and tracking people with KOXY not being visible. Navi are always going to feel that pressure because as it stands right now, their warding isn't, like, it's kind of aggressive, but it doesn't really see into Fnatic's jungle. So they have very limited information as to what's going on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Navi do in response to what Fnatic have brought to the game so far. I think, yeah, as you said, the fact that Ohio, second on the net worth, that's, yeah, the team fight. Not going to be nice. Not going to be nice if Navi want to try and fight in full head-on. KOXY still trying to look to catch up his farm. He's third on the board
I think
now.
they saw that smoke. They should have definitely seen that. Yeah, the ward scouted it out, so they're going to ping it. And I'm pretty sure they just get revealed by Bounty Hunter right away. Oh, the dust is slow. By that time, Johnny's already well out of there.
Unfortunate there for Navi. And space created again for KOXY. Look at him on the top lane, finding the space, using it to the best of his advantage. And we are going to see, yeah, it's now starting to pull away here for Fnatic, the gold difference. It is just 3k though, 14 minutes in, not a massive lead. But again, it is one that Fnatic have pretty much held for the entirety of this game so far. Navi yet able to swing the game back into their favor as of yet.
Well, Navi have a couple of opportunities for team fights. With the Puck having a Blink Dagger at this stage in the game, that's going to be nice. They have good disengage as well, so if something starts going wrong...
He's going in on KOXY and he's going to bring him incredibly low. Not quite low enough though, unfortunately for Dende, as he is able to escape their KOXY, getting himself back to base.
Thank goodness for Strength Treads, huh? Pretty sure he would have been dead if he was on Int.
It was very, very close indeed. Fnatic, bottom lane. They're looking on this tier 1 here. Kessikimba, Ohio and the boys, Mushy. Seneko hanging around. We haven't really seen Seneko be able to do too much yet this game. It's we haven't really seen this. I don't think we've seen a song at all yet so far. Still not finding the perfect chance to get it off. Ohio coming up to the top lane. Havorst, how's his farm doing? Well, he is working towards what looks like to be the mech here for Havorst himself. He's going to be picking it up for the team.
Yeah. The funny part is he's actually going to have it slower than the Undying, so that's always a little bit funny to see when you have a game like that, because Razor's known to dominate his lane, right? Like, that's what the hero is picked for majority of the time. But his mech's going to be a little bit delayed. I don't think it'll hurt Navi too much in the long run. It's just Fnatic. They have a slight lead at the moment. And you were talking about Seneko not being able to use a song, and I think that's mainly because using it to initiate is super dangerous against Fnatic, because they will chase you forever. So if you go and you song to initiate and then you make a mistake in that fight, Fnatic could very easily just clean up your entire team, because they have that track, they have Storm, they have Bloodseeker. Their chasing potential is nuts. So I think it's always safer to try to save it for a moment to like disengage and be like, whoa, I don't want to take this fight. We'll just go ahead and song and back off.
I mean, what's the game plan at the moment for the side of Fnatic? Are they going to be happy with where they are, or do they need to look for more engagements, or is it just about getting that farm on KYXY, getting him that completed Bloodstone as soon as possible before they look to try and take on Navi head on?
Yeah, getting Bloodstone is going to be great because the puck doesn't really deal a lot of damage. That's kind of Navi's biggest issue right now is their lack of DPS. So in the previous match, they had a lot of burst damage with the Queen of Pain. They had the ability to just kill a hero and get out because they also had things like Tusk at their disposal. I'm sure they have it this game too, but Puck is not known for being as bursty of a hero as Queen. So they're going to have a hard time killing KYXY if he gets that Bloodstone going. He's going to have so much effective HP. And you can see here, like even after being punched and whatever, KYXY, he kind of has no fear. And he knows that Dendy's not there, so he can just play as aggressive as he wants.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as you said, Dendy's really the only one that he needs to be worried about in terms of getting caught out. So having a grand old time. Johnny as well, level 7. Heading into the jungle, looking to get some intel. There is a hell of a lot of sentries around the map for Navi. They are ready and waiting. Johnny, he knows he's safe under this bit of the map with the sentry already placed, but he is going to get scouted out potentially if he comes around here towards Havorst. Now he's going to go to the north. The pings did come out nonetheless, and Fnatic will... Oh no, the dust doesn't quite latch onto Johnny. Every time, just on the tip. Johnny not being caught out by these dusts. And there we go, the dust from Artstar. This time it does get him. Okay, Johnny's in trouble now, and he'll get taken down. Does take him a couple of dusts, but Navi, they catch out the Bounty Hunter.
That's 3 heroes, though. Oh, Dendy, bottom lane. Mushi and KYXY looking for the Rupture. Good blink.
Dendy, yeah, blinks out. He's orbing out as well. He's fine. A-okay. And Dendy again, another game so far. He hasn't died at all in this one. Dendy proving to be as elusive as you'd expect on the puck. But it's just going to be a question of how much he can do for the team. Blink Dagger has now been completed by Fnatic, though, on this task. So 18 minutes in, you know, regarding on how the game's gone so far, not too bad of a timing here for him.
Maybe they can start to make something happen with that Blink Dagger. That's going to be kind of a, I think, a go-to item for Navi. Because before, when it's just the puck that has the Blink Dagger, it still takes some time for people to actually follow up your initiation. Whereas now, because of the fact that they do have that Blink available on Fnatic, they can just go in and try to burst the hero down really quickly. It's going to be tough, though, man. There's Glimmer Cape, Mech Arcanes on Ohio.
Oh, man.
Like, good God, he is farmed. How do you actually... Okay, so the only burst damage that Navi have is Magical Burst, right? And if they get Glimmer Cape on the hero who's being initiated on, like if they put it on KYXY in the middle of a fight, he's going to take almost no damage. I'm a little bit concerned that Navi... Puck is a hero who falls off, right? Like Razor, he's very good, but you need heroes to stand still. I think he's going to have a hard time finding a static link.
They're going to go for this. Mid lane, Fnatic's come out. Johnny scouts it out. KYXY straight in. We'll have the snowball here to buy him some time, and he will have the ability to blink himself away. They're going to zip forward for more, though. The tracks, they're revealing that KYXY is out of mana, and oh, he's not going to find the kill. Artstar there in time with the Shallow Grave. Fnatic to live. Bottom lane indeed going in, going hard onto Dendy. Dendy should be able to just make it out. Decay too short. No, the Rupture. The zombies. Ah, he's able to TP. Where's the... Oh, the soul rip from Ohio. Mega kill streak for the man. The rich just got richer as Ohio picks up that kill onto Dendy.
There is a very, very stressful point in the game right now for Navi, and it's going to be the next, like, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes where they don't have enough item progression on their heroes to really feel confident in taking these fights. I think that their lineup is so based around not necessarily a wombo combo, but the fact that they have to
the
be
Glimmer
able to
Cape
engage
initiation
properly.
straight onto Havorst. Is he going to get caught in the blood right? Yes, he is. They're going to chase this one down. Freezing field there from Keswick for a little bit to scare off any TP reaction, but it's still going to come in. Funny. Looking for Johnny. They'll be able to turn this one around. They found the Bounty Hunter. That is going to be it for the time being, but Fnatic moving forward. Thinking about a higher, but it's a little bit too tricky of a target to tackle without the rest of his team, as Dendy is still back in base at the moment. But they do get the Johnny Bounty Hunter, and they don't lose anything, and they don't lose the tier 2.
So I figured out Navi's game plan in the last 20 seconds.
What do you reckon?
I
Well,
clicked
what's the plan?
Seneko, and he's got 2,700 gold.
Oh, boy.
So the plan
When in
is...
doubt, get Radiance.
We need to make sure that the Naga Siren gets Radiance. That's going to be their fallback. Now, it's still, I think, Fnatic's game to lose at this point. They definitely have a lead. Okay, that's aggressive.
That's a very nice dream call as well. Mushi and Kesagima. Kesagima to fall. Mushi still alive, buying himself some time. Ohio has turned up, and now the song here. They're looking to take down the tombstone, and this is Navi now working perfectly as a team. Can they get the kills on the back of this? Mushi, he's going to get blown up straight away by the hill bomb. Ohio, he's getting low on mana. He hasn't got a mech. He's already used it. Dendi catching him out in with the snowball as well from Fnatic. Ohio to fall as well. KOX from the sideline. Can he do anything in response? I don't think he can. He needs to get himself out. Will zip himself back towards his base with the amount of mana that he's got. 3 heroes to fall on Fnatic. Off the back of that, Seneko, 3.4k gold. They get this tower as well. He's pretty much got his goddamn relic.
If he gets the last hit, okay, never mind. He lets somebody else get it, which is fine. But like you mentioned, he's gonna get a Radiance in like 25 minutes as support Naga Siren.
This, I mean, it didn't look, you know, across the map, things weren't looking great for Navi. The farm for Fnatic, it was kind of a question of how are they going to be able to keep on top of this? And Seneko turns up and says,
"In Seneko we
welcome
trust."
to the Seneko Naga. In the games where we kind of force a voice back, we say, mate, you're buying the mech,
yeah.
I'm carrying this one.
Well, that's why I thought it was so funny at the start of the game. I asked the question, is he actually going to farm? Because he had Stout Shield, which is pretty uncommon for a starting build for that hero, at least in the support capacity. But now, it's like, yeah, I'm farming. I'm only like, what, 1,200 gold away from finishing up that Radiance, and once he does,
It's insane.
Fnatic, they have pretty good pick potential, but their D push is kind of mediocre. They kind of have Storm and, I guess, CM Nuke, and that's about it. Oh, Johnny.
Oh, the dust again from Fnatic, catching out the bounty hunter. Straight in we go. Seneko as well being able to pick up that kill. Closing in on that recipe for the Radiance. And I got to be honest, you look at a kind of a game in which the Naga's going to get that Radiance to start pushing the lanes out and get 6 slotted eventually over time. And you ask yourself, what do Fnatic's lineup do against a stacked Naga?
That is the question, right? Is can they actually do anything to stop a Naga with Radiance? Like, sure, the Storm, you might be able to go for picks with Bounty Hunter and Storm and maybe even the Bloodseeker, but KYXY is going straight for Bloodstone, and he has it at 23 minutes, which isn't really the fastest timing. So now he needs to get to Orchid before he's going to be able to really do anything to Seneko, and I think the timing might just be a little bit too late. This is actually very interesting because most teams who run Naga Siren support, like you think EG is probably the front runner, right? They run it quite a bit. They never do this.
I think, there's a couple of times that he might have gone, but the majority of the time, yeah, it just doesn't happen.
Most of the time, it's like Solar Crest, Guardian Greaves, like stuff like that. I think Aoi even makes like 4 staff.
It is rare
but
on the support.
Maybe they just realize that.
Just them adapting to how the game's going and saying, right, we need you to get Radiance.
It's an adaptation, for sure. They look at it and they say, there's no way a support Naga is going to win us the game. We actually need to transition to carry Naga because Razor just doesn't do anything versus the cores of Fnatic. Like, Bloodseeker can run away. With track speed, you can run away. Bottom lane, initiation.
Straight in. Can they burst him down before he can get out? Oh, yes, they can. Oh, they're coming in to help out with the Soul Rip. They will bring down Dendi. And Fnatic able to keep themselves fine. I mean, you know, they are going to have this Naga with the... oh, there we go. Radiance now complete. 24-minute Radiance on your support Naga. Seneko picking that one up. And I think Fnatic, you know, they realize they've got to up the pressure, up the ante. You know, 5 heroes down here, they need to go for it.
They're going to see this and be like, oh, God, this is actually really bad. It's a really nice adaptation, though, coming in from Navi. It's very common to look at that pick and just say, like, okay, well, it's going to be standard support. And, you know, maybe he gets a couple of decent support items, but he'll never really transition into that core role. And now Fnatic, after having seen that Radiance, they're going to go, oh, we actually need to win the game now. Like, we can't let this go on for, like, another 10, 15, 20 minutes, however long it takes for Seneko to get to his core items, because it's going to start to become a huge issue for them.
I mean, already, you just look at the net worth, and it is Seneko at the top of that net worth for the side of Navi. The highest farmer at the moment. Just behind him is
Havos was giving him creeps in the jungle. He was actually hitting them low so Seneko could get to that Radiance. They realize how important it is for them to be able to get that split push going.
Oh, this is going to be very interesting indeed to see what Fnatic do in response. We saw them trying to look for something on this bottom lane, but they kind of got spooked out. Now they're going to go back in potentially with this smoke. Where's the plan? Maybe heading towards the jungle. They know that Seneko's going to potentially look towards that, of course, with the Radiance to farm. And at the moment, it's just Mushi up here as well, scouting out. What's he got coming out of the curry? Is that the BKB? Okay, no, it's the workings of one. He's got the Yoga Club on its way. Okay, here we go. Zipping onto Artstyle. They want a quick and easy pick off, and then Artstyle will find it. Dendy's down now with the Dream Coil onto 2. There's going to be TPs coming out as well, and there's Fnatic. Straight away with the Warriors Punch on the KYXY. They're looking to try and bring down, but here we go with the Glimmer Cape. He's going to be okay. The song's coming out now from Seneko. Is this a disengaged song? It certainly looks like it. They want to get out of it. Dandy just clearing off these zombies. Okay, Rupture onto her Vorst and zipping forward. They want to try and find him. He will be able to use the last of his mana here to get off the mech. It's not going to save them, though. The Razor will go down. And Fnatic proving that still, with the aggression and the team fight that they've got, they can very easily take one against Navi.
Yeah, their fighting was never really in question, though. It was a matter of, are you going to find the fights with Naga Siren having that Radiance? Like, the way that Navi can play this, they can just turtle. With, what, 3 other heroes, like Puck and the Naga Siren can split push the entire time. It's still very difficult for them to lock down Dendy until that Orchid is actually online. And I'm pretty sure... Okay, Dendy's going straight Hex, never mind. He's not making Yules. So in a lot of these games, when you're playing against like Bloodseeker and Storm, you kind of go Yules just to prevent the Orchid from just straight up being a death sentence to you. And I think based around how Navi have to play this, maybe Yules would have been a slightly better choice just to make sure that you're not like a solo target. Because if Naga is the only person showing on the map, it becomes a lot harder to really play the Naga game. Because if you're the only person showing, then obviously Fnatic are going to prioritize you because they don't have any other targets. But if Dendy can show as well, then it's like 2 people that they think about trying to kill. And the more they focus Dendy, the easier it will be for Seneko to continue to get his farm. So right now, Navi, the fallback plan is Naga Siren, please. Just help us. And they give him a gem, too.
And, well, yeah, ensuring that Johnny's not going to be able to catch him out as well. That's a smart play here from Navi. Boots of travel now completed by Seneko in, as well this time. So 27.5 minutes in, so he's now going to be able to get himself around the map. And now, with the energy booster still in tower, just disassembling his arcanes for that one. And now the push coming in from the bottom lane here. Fnatic. We've seen them try before to fight in this position, but each and every time Navi have been there with the defense. We'll see if Fnatic are able to accomplish anything with this one. KYXY hanging around. He's still just a little bit short of his... Okay, he's got 1 Oblivion Staff. He's got... Yeah,
he's got it
holding
now.
the work. Is that...
Yeah, he has it.
There we go. Yes, so it's just coming back to him on the courier. And it's still sitting on the floor, in fact. There we go. They'll go out and pick it up. There we go. So that's your Orchid done on KYXY as well. And he has got 11 Bloodstone charges. So we'll see what the Storm is able to achieve against Navi.
This is a good timing. The first gank that he gets is pretty much free because Navi will likely not see the Orchid finish until KYXY goes for a kill. Their warding, it's not super aggressive right now. They have 1 ward on their high ground in the jungle, but that's about it. So KYXY should have a pretty easy time finding a couple of pickoffs. The one concern, though, is Seneko, he's going to be going for that Manta style most likely, or at the very least he'll get a Yasha. Then he might go Octarine first since he already made Arcanes. Like he disassembled, makes spots, keeps the energy booster. If he goes Manta before Fnatic actually are able to really pressure the map, they're going to have some big issues. Like Naga Siren is no joke when you start getting to like the 40-45 minute mark and being able to kill those illusions as they continually get more and more tanky. And also consider the fact that heroes like Undying, even though Ohio is still like 4th highest net worth, which is insane, by the way, that he's managed to keep that up, he just doesn't quite have the same impact as he did maybe like, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, it certainly feels like the Undying's impact has been falling off over the last few minutes. Well, kind of half of the game. Moving forward here, they've found Fnatic here. This could be a nice and quick pick-off, and it's certainly going to be nothing less than that. Fnatic, not a hope in the world there with KYXY revealing the Orchid and bringing down the Tusk. And KYXY, he's certainly going to be a very, very scary force as the game goes on, and also a force that will be able to take down Seneko if he's caught out of position, at least until he's able to get at least another item on board of this Naga.
I'm wondering if he's going to go for Soul Booster or if he's going to go back for the Yasha. It's hard to say. I think having Yasha has its merits. Like the illusions running faster means that you can actually push the lanes in deeper. Like a lot of Naga Siren players will just run the illusion past the creep wave and pull it out. But Ohio, Glimmer caping in here. They will be able to secure the tier 2 mid. No contention coming out from Navi. I think that's actually the smart play. Because if for whatever reason your Naga Siren gets picked off and has to buy back, it's very painful because he doesn't have any health items yet, right? He's still very squishy. He's only got 1,200 HP. Oh, they spotted out KYXY.
Yeah, they want to find this kill. This is going to be a very tasty kill to find indeed. 12 Bloodstone charges at the moment on KYXY. He's been having quite a game so far. You're in trouble. Right, the end snare will go down. Seneko getting that kill as well. So this, I mean, this is big for the old Naga. Getting the kills onto this man. And 2.6k gold now sitting on him. So we will hopefully see what he does decide to opt for as his next movement.
I think he's going Soul Booster.
Okay, Soul
yeah,
Booster. Okay.
Yeah, it's still really good. It makes it so if the Storm jumps you, there's still a good chance you can live, even without the use of the Manta. And having the Octarine, I personally feel like that is the go-to item on Naga Siren. Like, the cooldown reduction is amazing. You get the extra tankiness out of it as well. It's just so good. I don't really think you can pass it up in most cases. And the thing is, it's still only 31 minutes in.
Yeah. This is
like, this is comparable to a normal position 1 Naga farm.
A core Naga would have been happy with this, yeah.
I think Navi, they're feeling actually pretty confident about this game. Fnatic, though, they're not going to just take it on the chin. They are going to try to sneak this Roshan. They realize they need to win. Like, obviously, you always want to win when you play Dota, but they need to win now. Like, they can't let the game continue at the rate that it is.
And with this Aegis, KYXY going to be able to grab that onto the Storm. And well, just this last tier 2 standing in the base for Navi. But as you said, with the Naga, the ability to just continuously push these lanes out of Vorst, actually going to be able to find this top tier 1 off the back of that momentum. There we go, a bit more money in the kitty here for the team. And Dendi, very, very close to his scythe, has got the Mystic Staff picked up on top of the Ultimate Orb, so just needing that final component. And then with the scythe as well, Navi are going to look very, very scary in these fights if they can find the initiation.
I think with the Puck having a blink and the Tusk also having it, you can kind of initiate whatever you want. If Seneco's back there to kind of stop the team fight if things are going bad, just be like, oh yeah, I'll pop Song. Everyone else can just retreat if we have a bad engagement. Even with the use of the Aegis, I'm kind of hesitant to say that Fnatic could actually break base. Like they'll probably get the tier 2 bottom. But outside of that, they haven't really been able to make a whole lot happen. Everyone's farming, which is great. But it's not about how fast you can farm, it's what can you do to deal with this late game Naga Siren on Navi.
Well, that really is the question, and when he's just under about 600 gold away from completing the Octarine, I don't know, man. It's certainly starting to look a little bit rockier for Fnatic. It's been up and down in terms of difference. It's only about 2.5k favouring the side of Fnatic, which 33 minutes in really is nothing. The XP a little bit more so in the favour of Fnatic, but still Navi. As you said, I'm sure they're going to feel very comfortable with the progression that Seneco's been able to find.
He'll have his Octarine very soon. He's only like 2,400 away, I think. No, he has 2,400 gold, excuse me.
Yeah, so
he's like 300 away.
It was very close to the Mystic Stuff.
And with that, it is going to be absolute nightmare for Fnatic to try to finish out this game. And like you mentioned too a little bit earlier, Denny now with a full Hex. During these team fights, Fnatic need to make these next like 5-10 minutes count. Like,
yeah,
really
they need
badly.
to go for it. They really need to go for it. Otherwise, it's just going to get harder and harder. It is one of those games against the Naga where it's just becoming a ticking time bomb. And to that point where it's just going to be almost impossible to push the base against unless you catch Seneko out of place and get him off the map for a good minute.
Well, the one nice thing that Fnatic have for now is that Seneko is confined to his base. He hasn't bought Octarine because he knows he needs buyback. So if they can take a fight with Naga being in base, that is ideal. Because if you know she's there, that means she can't be riding lanes. She can't be pushing them out. 2 of the 3 lanes right now are actually pushed in favor of Fnatic. This is one of the best situations you can hope for if you're playing up against Naga.
The Vorst houses farm. Look, he's got the BKB on top of the mech. Still not anything too special on the Razor. It is the Storm and the Bloodseeker at the top of the moment. Bloodseeker, Mr. Mushi, closing in on his MKB now. Just about 800 or so to go for that one. Fnatic still looking pretty scary with the Desolator and the Medallion. You know, if he locks down onto someone on the side of Fnatic, they will be able to kill them pretty darn quickly. So just a bit of a standoff here between the two sides as Fnatic hanging around looking for any kind of opening, any kind of overextension from Navi, but Navi sticking very, very close, very, very safe to their base. Seneko is actually going to come out a little bit here. We'll see where he decides to end up. There's quite a long way to go all the way around to this, but maybe he realizes that because Fnatic are here, he is safe to do this. as he is going to make a long trek, leaving the base here. Fnatic, they're going to continue to stay here and look to push. And now here we go, zipping in. KYXY going to get caught out here by the punch. Now your side from Denny. Can they kill the Storm? Yes, they can. But Storm's got the Aegis. He's going to be back here for round 2. Soneko's TP back as well. Can they kill him? He's got the song and they're going to use it.
Oh no, that's
bad. Oh, they toggle the silence. It might not matter anyway if they can kill him. And oh no, KYXY gets out. This is a disaster for the side of Navi as they're unable to find the kill. They did get the Aegis and they do defend the base, but unfortunately for Navi, very close to killing the Storm, which would have been massive for them. But just a little bit of a miscommunication there between the skills.
Yeah, Soneko kind of biffed that one. Okay, so they did that combo earlier, right? They silenced after the song ended, and they killed KYXY when he was high ground, which showed that maybe Soneko just thought that that's how they should always do it, because it's almost a guarantee, but then he just immediately silences him. The song comes out, gives him about a second and a half of invulnerability, ends up saving his life. So a little bit unfortunate that they're not able to get the Storm off the map, but in that time, Soneko, he manages to secure his Octarine. He's also got almost enough money for buyback. Shouldn't be too much longer. And at the end of the day, they still get the Aegis. So
yes.
it's not they're still going to be okay with it. Obviously, would have been better if they killed the Storm. But still now, Fnatic, they're probably sitting there going, man, that was supposed to be our time. They even knew that Soneko wasn't there right away. So they jump in straight away, try to go for an engagement, force it really hard because, hey, the Naga's not here. And they still aren't able to make anything really big happen.
Not with Horst. He's found Johnny, and Johnny's found Horst. Things coming out, but Horst going in. Chasing this one down, walking the dog, and here's KYXY coming in to turn this one around. Horst popping the BKB, trying to continue to fight, but now just going to simply look for the TP out. Doesn't want to stick around, doesn't want to be a part of this. And will get himself back to base.
Well, the Naga begins. All he needs to do now, I think, is he gets Yasha, maybe goes to Manta style and the Butterfly or something like that, and he will be pretty much the split-pushing god of Naga Siren.
This is going to be so nasty for Fnatic to try and push the lanes back out against. I mean, overall, they're doing fairly well here. They keep focusing on this bottom lane. This is where they want to try and break the base first by the looks of it. The 5-man yet here all again. Now, Vorsten Artstyle just left defending here. The illusions, though, from Soneko. I mean, this creep wave is going to bring this tier 2 down very, very low. Yeah, TP's coming out. They're going to need to do something to stop this one because this tower very close to dropping.
This is a bad sign. When a team has to TP back to address Naga, that's how you know the team with a Naga is winning, right? Because every single time Fnatic have to get off of Navi's side of the map, that's less pressure. A hero TPs away, especially a hero like Storm, who is one of the better initiators on their team. It just gives you so much breathing room because now you can see Navi either moving outside of their base, they're starting to get some farm on other lanes. Fnatic are just in the situation where if the Naga Siren is pressuring towers too hard and no one is there, because you obviously want 5 people to push, right? If you're trying to break high ground, you need everyone. So whenever Soneko is getting those lanes pushed in, suddenly it becomes just like the first person that TP's back, instantly Navi are going to be like, okay, we can either go for a kill ourselves or we just go back to farming.
Top lane, talking about farming, KYXY is looking for some. Needs to be careful, though, because Dendi is around with the Hex, yeah. Actually going to look the wrong way here. Now he's going to reveal himself. Actually trying to go in on Soneko, but there's the backup. Funny coming in first. KYXY gets the BKB out before the Hex goes down, and now he really wants to kill this Naga, and he might just find it. He does. Brings down Soneko. Now he's going to look to get himself out. He's out of mana, though. But the backup's here. Fnatic's turned up. This is the kind of fight that they want to look for. Dendi's blinked himself away from this. And there will be a blink out from Funnick as well, but they're going to chase it down here. Funnick, frostbitten up. They'll take him down as well. And Fnatic finding Navi out of place very, very nicely. And these are the kind of pickoffs and fights that Fnatic have been looking for pretty much the last 20 minutes of the game.
It was so close to Dendi getting that Hex off. If he got the Hex on KYXY before the BKB, I think they probably would have just killed the Storm, and that team fight would have went horrendously for Fnatic. But unfortunately, Dendi wasn't quite able to get in range fast enough. I think they recovered the gem. Yeah, Dendi picked it up. So they didn't end up giving away the gem to Fnatic, which is definitely a good thing. They're going to try to force the Naga Siren to buy back, but I'm not sure if he has to. Even getting like racks here, I think it's not worth buying back on the Naga. You want that hero to be alive twice, because if you buy back now, and then you like they back up or whatever, it just means if you die one more time, you just lose the game. So obviously having that safety of a buyback is always going to be much nicer, even if you end up giving away a tier 3 for it. So Navi made the right call in that situation. The rest of Fnatic are going to be content with their pick and just back off.
16-15 the graph, still showing, of course, this lead for Fnatic, and even more so there after that fight. So Seneko, still got a fair bit of work to do to keep hold of this game here for the team. 1,600 gold now on top of that, Yasha. Havorst on top of the BKB now has managed to pick himself up that plate mail. He has got 3,900 in the bank as well, so well on his way to picking up his next item. Phoenix got 2k in gold and Artstyle. He's picked up the Ghost Scepter. Other than that, a little bit of a poor game here for Artstyle. Lowest on the net worth, but understandably so. It's been a tough one. On to the Bloodseeker here. Mushy getting caught out in the mid lane and they'll be able to bring him down. KOXY coming in, trying to turn this one around, doing a lot of damage. He's a little bit low on mana. Denny kept alive here with the Shallow Grave, and now there's your song. BKB is going to wear out. Can Navi find something off the back of this here? They have got Mushy to worry about on the sidelines, but they've already taken down Johnny here on the Bounty Hunter. But no, Navi, they're just all dying.
Ulti.
The damage from Keswick's freezing field too much. And the fact you've got Mushy just running around at the speed of light. Artstyle drops as well. And Nav, that was not the Song of the Siren setup that they needed. And 4 of them dead. What a disastrous fight for them against Fnatic, who played that absolutely impeccably. And off the back of that, should be able to force out a fair few buybacks from Navi.
That CML absolutely decimated them.
Yeah.
Keswick, definitely shout out to him for that. Double buyback from Navi. You said it yourself that they were going to have to probably buy back for that. But the thing is, now they're using buybacks and Roshan's up. So before that fight even happened, I think Navi wanted to try to pressure to try to have this situation happen, but for them, obviously. Like Fnatic winning that fight means they get to go into Roshan for free. And now it's like, this game is completely in Fnatic's favor once again. Because of the fact that Naga bought back. We talked about when they were pushing top how bad it is to have to buy back in that situation because it means one more death could just end the game. And Seneko still doesn't have anything close to finishing his Manta style. If he has Manta, he can live through the Storm initiation. But without it, he's relying on the rest of his team to try to help him out.
Yeah, I mean, that was an incredible fight there for Fnatic. And Navi at this point, they do need to be careful. Seneko's got to be very careful. He really is protect Seneko at this point. He's got to be up because when he's down, the lanes suddenly get all pushed in. Fnatic get the momentum again going. And it gets a lot harder for them to do anything. Ohio now sitting on 3.1k gold. Continues to be a very down, rich, undying. And as you said, the freezing field massive. Look at the amount of money that Keswick's got after that. 2,800 here on the Crystal Maiden. He's looking very darn healthy indeed. KYXY, 13 Bloodstone charges, 2.9k gold as well for him. Now, what does the Storm go as his next item? Does he himself look for something like the Scythe?
Yeah, I think Hex is probably the best choice. If you assume that Seneko is eventually going to get to that Manta style, maybe even before you get a chance to fight again, having a Hex just means that you have that guaranteed initiation and just saying, all right, well, we can jump him for sure. We have Rupture at our disposal as well. At the very least, we can force them, force Navi into pretty much retreating. But for now, you could tell the stark contrast and the control that Fnatic have over this game in the last course of like 5-10 minutes is Navi losing that fight, Seneko being forced to buy out, losing Roche. It seemed like the game, they had a very good stranglehold on it with that Naga, and just off the back of 1 or 2 good engagements, Fnatic, they just pull it right back.
I mean, look at it. Like, it's just rocketed up about 10k, and Fnatic, they're ready to go. They're smoked up, looking towards the top lane, and ready to start to apply some pressure, looking to break the base. Dendy. He's chilling here. The wall's being popped down. They know Dendy's there. The ping's coming out from Navi saying, Dendy, get yourself back. Fnatic, they're going to look to jump. They certainly are still hiding here. Havorst. Is he going to be the one to tank this? Moving forward, still not close enough for Fnatic to want to jump in. But at this point, what do Navi do to stop this? They've got the Song, but they haven't really got a huge amount of wombo combo. Yes, they've got the Weave, they've got the Dream Coil. But other than that, it's just a lot of kind of single target. We're going to have to see what they can do. They have found KYXY. KYXY just able to zip himself back out, and this Storm is pretty darn hard to bring down at this point of the game.
He's insanely tanky, for
Bottom
sure.
tower does go down there, though. So, again, these creep waves being pushed out. The momentum's certainly there for Navi, but at this point, pressured into their own base.
I think Fnatic are perfectly fine just sitting here.
Yeah.
Because, again, the Naga Siren's going to be sending illusions to other lanes, sure. It happens, you know. That's just how the hero actually functions. But, by the way, welcome in to everyone tuning in. We're now on the main stream here. And I guess we must be the last game running, right? At least in the first series.
And this game could be running for quite a bit more if Navi are able to get it their way. If you're just joining, this is a game in which Seneko is on his Naga and has managed to find a hell of a lot of farm. He said, Havorst, I'm going to carry today. He's got a Radiance Manta style complete now as well on top of the Octarine 45 minutes in. We've seen Fnatic have a couple of really nice team fights in which they've been able to get themselves into the base now, but KYXY getting X'd up, and the Glimmer indeed from Fnatic. able to get himself back out. So they're slowly chipping away at the base. It's just the ranged racks, but still, look at the other lanes. I mean, they're going to have to send someone down to deal with this creep wave here. And Seneko on the back of this, he's really holding Navi in on this game with the amount of pressure he's applying to the lanes. And it's a lot of this, it just feels a lot of pressure is on Seneko at this point. It's
kind of all on him, actually. If he gets picked off one more time, he still has, what, right now he's not able to buy back for 3 minutes. He'll have enough money when the buyback cooldown is back up, but for a while, Navi, they need to continually push out lanes. That is their only game plan. When they went mid trying to fight because they knew Roshan was going to spawn, they had the right mentality about wanting to fight over Roshan. That part was fine, but they just didn't respect Fnatic's 5 versus 5 potential enough. I mean, if we're speaking bluntly, Fnatic's 5-man is insane. Like, they're actually so good in 5 versus 5 engagements, especially considering the amount of mobility that their cores have. And we said, even at the start, Navi, they lack disable. They're not able to really hold the storm in place. They can't deal with Mushi. So when you take that 5 versus 5 and you song aggressively, you leave yourself no retreat option. And then Fnatic just run them over. So I think that decision in of itself has kind of put them into this spot right now where Seneko is just being completely relied on to keep them in the game.
I mean, if you do look at the lockdown that Navi have, essentially they've got the 3 seconds at the Waning Rift, the 3.5 seconds of the Hex, and then it is down pretty much to the Snowball Stun as well. But even in those, what, kind of 6-7 seconds, if you perfectly kind of stagger them, stagger the lockdown, I don't know if they're killing this this Storm because he's pretty darn fat. You know, 2,300 health. And there's a freaking goddamn Undying keeping him alive with everything that he's got in his items.
There's a ton of heals. There's Glimmer Capes. There's Solar Crests, Force Staffs. 7 seconds sounds like a really long time, but in reality, trying to line those things up together without the enemy team doing anything to stop you is very unlikely. So in the grand scheme of things, they don't really have a lot to deal with KYXY at this point, and he is sitting on top of 5,600 gold, likely going to be seeing him pick up that Hex. He might even buy it and just say, screw having buyback, because right now, Fnatic are still pressuring a lot, and he's got a lot of Bloodstone charges, so even if he does die, he'll be respawning relatively quick.
Man, with the 13, it's going to be something around, what, 20 second, 20, 30 maximum respawn. It's not going to be a big one at all.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. But, I mean, as well in these fights, we've been seeing the Blood Rage being used on KYXY, so he's doing a hell of a lot of damage zipping around. They're really not scared of him dropping, because they know that they can keep the Storm alive. Navi here, just ready, and they're waiting for Fnatic. It's very hard for Navi now to leave the base. In fact, I don't think we've seen anyone other than Seneko dare to leave. At the same time, Kesik, he's got the BKB now on his Crystal Maiden as well. Level 16 here with a 3rd point in Freezing Field. Navi have got to be so scared of these 5-on-5 engagements.
At least they have a couple of ways of stopping the ultis still. Like, when they had that CM ult mid, that was kind of the thing that sealed the deal. Like, Kesik standing in the trees, getting that huge freezing field off, killing, I think, 2 or 3 members of Navi, just in terms of sheer damage output. That was a huge play. They can Walrus Punch, I think, to stop Black King Bar, or BKB ulti, and then they also have the Naga Net. That's pretty much the only 2 ways. So looking for him to try to get some big ultis off. Fnatic, though, they're not going too crazy right now. They're kind of just content to control the map, farm it up. They're going to see that teleport from Seneko. Actually, no, he might have been on a vision when he did that. But if they see him teleport to a lane, they immediately have to pressure, because you want to always push the Naga Siren back into her base. The longer you can keep her confined in there, the less likely it is that you're going to have lanes being pushed like all the way to your base. And you can see what he's doing. Like, he's actually just running his illusions past creep waves. He's not trying to sit there and tank him out. He's just putting him in front of the tier 2 and like parking it there and just trying to get the lanes out as far as he can.
Naga doing Naga things here on all the lanes. He did pick up the Diffusal Blade as well. It's going to be very nice in the fighting and in the pushing. Also bottom lane. Going in on to this tier 3 KYXY, zipping forward. And oh, her voice, yeah, just AC now. Does have 2,400. But yeah, these illusions, they're sitting there tanking up the tower as well. Why not? That's going to be a creep wave going down. The amount of farm that this Naga's got, allowing him to achieve this. And you're going to have to send someone back on the side of Fnatic, because you've got a couple of siege creeps, so they're going to be knocking on your door. And indeed, KYXY there with the TP back. And oh man, this game, we could be in for the long haul, Andy, with this one.
It is possible. I mean, it's 50 minutes. For a Naga Siren game, that is not long by any stretch of the imagination. We've seen like 2-hour games, something like that with Naga Sirens before in the past, but Roshan going to be the next point of contention. Again, forcing KYXY out is the big deal. It means Navi can get themselves going on the map. They know Roshan's going to be up soon. Fnatic scouts the pit. He sees it. It's not up just yet, but they know. That's why they're going for the smoke play. I really hope they at least save Song to run away this time, because if they didn't learn their lesson from what they did mid before, it could be Fnatic just taking another really strong fight.
Yeah, smoked up at the moment, Navi. Seeing what they can find. And as you said, this would be a lovely time to try and catch out Fnatic, because other than now, Navi haven't really left the base here. So it would really catch Fnatic off guard. But it is not going to be the case. Fnatic themselves grouped up towards the mid lane. And I was just kind of having a look. There is no gem at the moment on the side of Navi. We do have a gem on the side of Fnatic, though. Of course, Keswick holding it on the CM. And Seneko just continue to push out, has found 4,100 net worth now as well. And he is catching up here with KYXY Stormfront. There's going to be a bit of a fight kicking off though here. Keswick, he tries for the freezing field, but the Walrus Punch is there to cancel it. And they do lose the Crystal Maiden. At the same time, KYXY looking for Artstyle. Denny's there to back it up. KYXY, will he be able to find the kill? No, Artstyle with the shallow grave. KYXY is going to have to get himself the hell out of there. Doesn't want to fight it. Actually going to join the rest of the gang, looking for Seneko. Seneko, he's got the TP. Will be able to disengage this time with the Song of the Siren.
They're giving away Roche. Like that TP basically just says we cannot fight Roche anymore. I'm really surprised that after getting that CM kill, they didn't just try to go for that. And the funny part about it too was KYXY had Orchid that entire time. He just let Artstyle use Grave. Like he had Orchid off cooldown and just didn't go for the kill. That is a really bizarre kind of exchange, I guess, from both teams. But Seneko teleporting himself top. He's going to just shove the wave in again, trying to prevent the push in mid. And maybe because of the lane equilibrium right now, Navi aren't actually giving away Roche, because now Fnatic have to de-push again. Like they're feeling not as confident, like maybe they don't kill it fast enough and Navi would be able to react in time. So definitely a very stressful situation for both teams. And this is still anyone's game, right? Like if Fnatic win one good team fight or they're able to get Roshan, that might be enough to help them break high ground. I think if Navi somehow manage to get Roshan, Fnatic are going to be in a really, really bad place.
It's getting harder and harder against this Naga Siren. The courier going out to the secret shop. What's going to be the item of choice here for Seneko? Does he go for the butterfly or the... Well, it's going to be the butterfly straight up purchased as well. So that means there's no buyback available for Seneko here, going all in with the butterfly purchase. He's
really tanky though. So he has 24 armor, evasion, and 2100 health. His illusions are going to be absolute monsters at this point. Even trying to kill those in general, it's going to be tough. Fnatic with the smoke, just trying to scout out the Roshan pit. They see it's up.
Here we go. Zip zapping straight in onto Funny Kid with the Hex, but now with the return Hex, they're trying to do it for the low ground. Dendy there controlling KYXY. Artstyle is the one that might be in a lot of trouble. There we go. The Orchid this time, but the Song coming out. It's not quick enough to save Artstyle. Artstyle will fall. The rest of Navi getting themselves back up to the high ground. They're going to be all right. 38 seconds until Artstyle returns. It could have gone a lot worse for Navi, that one. They do just lose the Dazzle, but the big kind of punishment here for them is the fact that Fnatic are going to be able to take Roche off the back of it, and there's nothing that Navi can do to fight this. Oh, they've got a Hex now on the Undying as well.
Ohio is just like, he's like, whatever, just casual Undying, 6-1 and 11. At 53 minutes, this is actually an insane amount of items for an Undying to have. And the Hex is so good. Like double Hex, you initiate with a Storm, you Hex, then you get the pull. You can go for the Orchid as well if Manta Style is down on Seneko, and then you can just go into another Hex. They actually have more than enough to be able to deal with this Naga Siren inside a fight. So for now, having the Aegis Fnatic, they want to be aggressive. They want to control. They want to force Seneko to come back to base.
Mushi at the moment in the mid lane on his Bloodseeker. And just look at Mushi as well. He is incredibly stacked. He's got a Butterfly. He's got the MKB. He's got everything that he needs. He's also holding the cheese at the moment. So when he does turn up to the fights, he's just going to be something else that Navi are really going to have to worry about. We haven't really seen him in full force in these last couple of engagements. But when he does turn up, the difficulty for Navi is certainly going to be stepped up. Seneko, indeed, just continuing to pressure this top lane. Hasn't been able to do too much damage to the tier 3, but is going to be able to skip out the creeps in the middle as well. Mushi trying to do what he can really to deal with it. He's kind of been left on his own to defend the base. The rest of Fnatic hanging around here on this bottom lane, which is kind of where we've seen them sitting for around the last 20 minutes. They always come back to this spot. They really want to try and break this area of the map. But each and every time, they're still yet to take down the tier 3. Navi have been pretty strong with the defense.
It's just really hard to fully commit when you're in the situation, right? Because what if Fnatic make a mistake? What if they fail this high ground push with an Aegis? That means that you're going to have to wait minimum for the next Roshan to spawn. And by that point, it might already be too late. You can see Seneko, he still hasn't even felt pressured enough to teleport to base. he's saying, yeah, it's fine. I'll just sit up here, pop my Manta on cooldown, throw some mirror images at the tower. Like, this tier 3 top lane is taking more damage than the bottom tier 3 that Navi are being pushed in by right now. So it's a little bit concerning.
Oh, they're going to go in straight away with the Hex onto Havorst. They want to try and find it, but he's going to be fine. They're actually backing up because the Hex now to KYXY will be able to get the BKB out, looking for the kill onto Fnatic, pulling him in, but they are hard. There's Snowball there just in time, along with the Shallow Grave, and now it's going to be Fnatic getting themselves the hell out. Snowball chasing down KYXY with the stun catch. No, he's able to just duke it out, but now with the ensnare, Seneco's turned up to the fight here. KYXY will get Glimmer caked up. He's going to be fine for the time being because Navi backing themselves back up to the base. And KYXY, he's looking for blood. He just goes straight in there. He is not scared at all. He knows that they cannot kill this Storm. There's a freezing field here, because why the hell not? It looks pretty there from Kesekimba. Mushi continues to go, and now KXY with the Hex onto Dendy. Shiva's Guard as well. Can they peel it with Mushi's damage? Arstar just in time here with the Shallow Grave. Dendy needs to get himself out. Can't go down. They've already lost Fnatic here on the side of Navi. Now with the Hex onto KYXY. Buyback from Fnatic here. And now Seneco going in. Can he clean this one? Is he the carry that Navi needed at this point in time? Kesik's able to retreat himself out. Johnny getting low, getting healed up by the Soul Rip here, by the Undying. There comes Fnatic in with the balls. 3 heroes down at the moment. They've managed to pop the Aegis here on Storm Spirit. Can they kill him for the second time? That's going to be the real testament to see if they can do it. But no, KYXY is out of there. They're going to go for the easier target. Looking for Mushi. Mushi eats the cheese. He's a bit of a fan of the old Gorgonzola, trying to continue to fight this. Blood Bright's being thrown down. Havorst bringing Kesekimba low. Kesek's still alive at this moment in time. KYXY just doing too much. Mushi low. Needs the lifesteal. Isn't going to find it. Mushi's going to drop. KYXY getting psyched out. Can they kill the Storm? Yes, they can! It's a team wipe. Fnatic hit the deck, and Navi are able, for what seems to be the first time in forever, take an incredibly convincing fight against Fnatic. What a performance.
They're going to force buybacks here, too. Seneco TP's mid straight away, forces Mushi to buy back into the game. The Storm's going to be up in 20. KYXY had a lot of Bloodstone charges for that, but that was cheese. That was Aegis. They forced 1 buyback? Only 1, and that's with Seneco using his song and immediately canceling it, saying to himself, okay, this song wasn't actually ideal. So the fact that Navi, they get that huge weave stack going, they chase out with mass minus armor. This Naga Siren is insanely tanky at this point, has a Diffusal Blade. She can just upgrade it if she wants, buy Moon Shards, and pretty much Boots of Travel level 2. I think he actually has enough money for everything if he wants to do that. That fight all kicked off by KYXY going back in, tries to kill Dendy, the Grave saves him, and then Fnatic dies, sure, but again, he had buyback, and they commit so hard. They want to end the game because they know that Seneco is not going to allow them to keep those lanes pushed. He's just going to continually pressure, and unfortunately for Fnatic, it wasn't great. Like, that was a 15,000 experience swing of a team fight.
Oh.
I mean, that's gold, but yeah.
Damn.
The experience was...
Well, we'll have a look at the XP now, Andy. Oh, there we go. There we go. Starting to swing round indeed. I mean, they've got to be careful. You can't be losing fights like this, as you said, against a lineup with an incredibly stacked Seneco Naga. 36,000 net worth coming up on the board for him. 6K ahead of the KYXY Storm Spirit. And, I mean, what does he buy? What's he got coming out for him at the moment? Is it just the upgraded... Okay, it's the upgraded Diffusal. Okay, it's going to pop up to the second level of that. But with the amount of money he's got enough to, of course, upgrade those bots. And then after that, is this how you remain 6-slotted? Is there anything you can go for on top of this? Anything
you can get
swap
Refresher.
Out?
You can get Refresher.
But does he need Refresher? I mean, with the Octarine, it's a 45 seconds cooldown.
A lot of it is more about, like, refreshing Boots of Travel and stuff.
Okay.
Like, even with a lower cooldown from Octarine, you can do stuff like bot in, spawn illusions, refresh, bot back to base. Because sometimes in the late game, if a team sees you bot to a wave and you don't have Refresher, they will just go for an all-in push, right? That's why Seneco is very conservative with his Boots of Travel use so far. And if he has to leave base, he always walks if he sees Fnatic on his side of the map. If he was to teleport, then Fnatic can just say, oh, we just push. But if you get Refresher, you have a lot more opportunity to play around with it and make a little bit more space and deal more damage to the tier 3s by being able to use your bots twice in succession. So he can go that. He can decide to go for Necrobook, put it on the courier, just be really annoying and just spawn stuff. Buy his own courier even. I mean, when you're getting to this kind of gold territory, a lot of stuff is possible. But he should buy Moonshards first.
Oh, Moonshard. Ah, yeah, that's something that I've overlooked. I'd see a bit of the old Moonshard Seneco Naga. That's the dream there. Mushi. He's being eyed up here by Navi, and here we go straight in onto Mushi with the Hex as well. Can they bring him down? Yes, they can! That's your Bloodseeker down for 2 minutes. Let's have a look at the buyback, because it doesn't look like it's available. KYXY trying to fight back here, pulling in Artstyle here. Artstyle getting low, but with the Ghost Scepter going to be okay. And now as Navi continues to fight, KYXY is incredibly low on mana, needs to be careful. There is a freezing field coming out from Kessing, but doing him enough, but the rawest punch there from Fnatic will cancel it. They lose KYXY as well. He will buy back straight away, but Kessing on the sidelines. The Mushi Bounty Bloodseeker down as well. They don't have buyback. Seneko there with a clutch song. TP's out. The Navi side will escape. They did lose Fnatic and Artstyle off the back of that, but the fact that they were able to get Mushi off the map for 90 seconds is huge. And okay, there's your 7th slotted item. It's going to be the Necro 3 picked up by Seneko. He wants to get the push on.
He bought his own courier too.
A Hex picked up by Havorst as well. I mean, this game is going from spectacle to spectacle.
I mean, this is the Midas touch, I guess you could say, right? Like, Seneko right now is the king of money. He's got almost 800 CS, 770 right now, at 60 minutes in.
Oh, man.
And this was a guy who didn't start off as a position 1. Like, it came to be as the game kind of progressed. And like I was saying earlier, man, in Seneko we trust. The guy can play pretty much any kind of role that he needs to.
He has more CS now than the entirety of his team put together. The work that this guy's putting in.
Yep. I mean, this is what happens though when you play Naga, right? Like, you soak up the entire map.
Yeah, it's expected.
It's very, very common for this.
Especially at 61 minutes in.
Yeah. So now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, he's sending his Necro Book on the courier out to him in the top lane, or keeping it at least in the area. The other thing too that was super painful for Fnatic, Mushi is still dead. Like, he bought back, and then he died again. He was dead for 2 minutes. And then KYXY bought back, Seneko songed, and KYXY couldn't get a return kill. So that was a massive investment coming in from Fnatic with no game. Absolutely nothing. And because they lost a huge team fight, Navi have been pushing the lanes so hard. Like, Seneko is sending his Necrobook minions down middle lane now. He's got the illusions as well. He's actually mismicroed a bit because, okay, there we go. Now the Necrobook is actually attacking. But they know Roshan's going to be up soon. And this time, Fnatic, if they're going to contest, they need to smoke for it.
Look, they're just dealing with this push from the Naga. You know, where's your creep wave at now? It's gone. And the Necros, yep, KYXY he's having a bit of a difficulty. And at this point, you know, if you look to the game about 20 minutes ago, it was Navi being pressured into their base. Now, it's pretty much Fnatic being very, very careful about when they leave theirs, because they've been on the receiving end of the aggression that Navi have, and no, they're at a point now where they can quite easily lose a fight against Navi if Navi get the jump. And Navi, they're going to look to use this space to go for Roshan. But Fnatic, smoked up, they want to contest this one. This is going to be big. It's a half L for the moment. Kessig leading the way here. In we go straight away with the BKB. Now with the freezing field. Fnatic trying to get the no with the worst punch, but he's actually going to opt to use the snowball here. They have lost Artstyle here on the Dazzle. Havorst doing what he can here with the Eye of the Storm. Seneko running around as well, focusing onto Mushi. Mushi gets down, and he will be able to bring down Havorst before Seneko can save him with the Song of the Siren. Seneko will simply TP out. They'll send Dendi back to base as well. And this is going to open it up for Fnatic themselves to claim Roche and get the Aegis and the Cheese onto their team. A big win there for Fnatic.
That was such a good timing. Like, Seneko not being there at the start of the fight, Mushi just going in straight away, killing one of the highest net worth heroes. Like, they took out Havorst, and as soon as he dies, it's automatically just, they can't fight anymore. Artstyle, I think, was the first one who dropped a little bit further to the right, inside of the river. But it was all about taking away the Aegis from Navi.
There's also a gem that was dropped as well. I believe that is Artstyle's gem. They didn't spot that out. So we'll see if the team recovers that one. It's
still kind of important to have gem, but for now, it's more just about like who wins the next couple of engagements. And Vision right now definitely favoring Fnatic. They've gotten a couple of wards down. And that smoke, you kind of have to anticipate that play from Fnatic, because when you see all the lanes pushing in and Fnatic's not showing on the map, it becomes fairly obvious, okay, well, they're sitting in the base or they know we're doing Roche. So it felt like Navi maybe weren't fully prepared for that, or at the very least, Seneko wasn't close enough to the pit to really have the impact that he was looking for. By the time he got the song off, it was already a little bit too late. And with the use of that Aegis and Cheese, maybe Fnatic, maybe they get one more shot here.
They're going to go for it this time. Aegis and Cheese and so, as you were saying. Let's see what Navi can do in order to stop this. They have got everyone up, and they're smoking up as well, looking for maybe to bait a KYXY forward onto a jump. Weave's going to get thrown down by Artstyle. Lotus Sword popped onto KYXY as well to help him against the Scythe initiations. And here we go. Okay, Fnatic in with the Walrus Punch. They just have to follow it up now. KYXY is little piggy push. He's trying to chase it down. Look at the damage he is doing here. Vorsto did get the static link off. And now the ensnare holding Mushi back in place. Ohio and KYXY grouped up. Then he has got the Dream Coil available, and well, Wendy Rift comes out with the BKB there straight away. They're trying to get Kessigimba getting low. They will bring down the Crystal Maiden. Snowball coming out just in time here from Fnatic. Mushi getting low. Look at the damage Vorsto is doing. It's doing too much. Mushi's going to fall. KYXY trying to fight through this one. Taneko getting at the mirror's image and now chasing down Mushi. Mushi's fairly speedy, trying to run himself away. Here we go. Now he's popping down the blood right. Can they kill Mushi? Getting low. The damage again. Vorsto doing so much with the AC and everything. Mushi can't run himself out of this one. Now they look towards Ohio. Ohio will get the Hex out onto Taneko, but KYXY, he's saved up from Dendi. KYXY gets Walrus punched here by Fnatic. Ohio trying to duke it out into the sideline here with the Glimmer Cave. Vorsto incredibly low, but he's got this shallow grave here from Artstyle. Mushi, can he fight it? Can he get the lifesteal? No, he won't get the lifesteal. We'll get the kill though. He's getting so ripped up. Mushi, he's going to live. It's a double kill for Mushi. He'll clear out the creepways as well. A TP was being attempted by Navi. There's a buyback from Vorst, a buyback as well from Seneko. But the side of Fnatic, they back off after that one. And what a fight. So Navi essentially all dying in that one. Only 3 dropping on Fnatic with the buyback from Mushi. But that buyback from Mushi pretty much did secure them that team fight as he came back in, was able to get a double kill against Navi. And we can see a fairly hefty gold swing adding up to, well, pretty much over 8,000 difference created between the gold and XP. A little slightly less, but the money certainly favoring the side of Fnatic because of all those buybacks that Navi did have to expend there.
Fnatic, or Mushi, made it so worth it. Like, he made his buyback pay for itself in full. Like, there's no way that they have to buy back on anyone on the side of Navi if Mushi is dead after that Aegis and they don't continue pushing it in. So the fact that his buyback paid for itself, it was so close to being him just having a dieback. And if that happened, Navi would have just probably walked down the lane and just won the game. Because both of their cores had to buy out at that point. And if you're alive and you know Mushi's dead for 2 minutes, it's like, okay, well, we pretty much just, at the very least, take your mid-racks, because that's plenty of time at this stage, given how inflated everyone's damage is. But now, Fnatic, they have to play so careful. They're taking these team fights with Cheese and Aegis, and they're still not winning. I mean, yeah, buyback is always a thing when you're defending your base, but when you have this level of farm, Mushi is almost fully slotted. Like, he can buy moon shards, I guess, and that's about it. But otherwise, like KYXY, he's pretty much in the same boat. He can just buy moon shards. I think he has buyback available. He is the only core, though, on Fnatic who has it. So I feel like it's super risky to take a fight right now.
31 to 20 at 67 minutes in now on the clock. Yet again, in these TI5 group stages, another game that's over an hour. I don't know what the kind of record is of how many.
I think it's like 85 minutes.
It's
at TI5 at
least.
the
record. I mean just the number of games that have been this long. There
you mean
feels to be a lot
tournament?
of them, yeah, that's been in this tournament so far. It's a very different thing to what we were seeing in previous patches, I can tell you that. It's quite something, and okie dokie, going forward and going out.
That was so
little bit of
close.
a jump there. Looking for the punch.
KYXY is trying to give me a heart attack, dude. Like, if he got hit there and Hex, he was dead.
Well, Navi at this point playing very, very carefully, understandably so as well. WhatsApp being upgraded here by Seneko. Still seeing on 5,300 going forwards. Fnatic. Oh, okay, with the Hector and Denny. Can they find Mushi now? KOXO balling in straight away. He's popped the BKB as well. Looking for Denny. Denny's been hexed up. Now Denny's got the Lotus Orb on himself, trying to turn it around. Mushi with his BKB and the Lotus Orb. But it's the Song of the Siren from Seneko, maybe setting this one up. Mushi getting low, and indeed he will go down. That's going to be Mushi down for 2 minutes with that dieback effectively. Now looking for KYXY. Can they get him? KYXY, he's getting low, but Kessigimba doing what he can with a freezing field. Pretty big. Kessigimba to fall though. KYXY's out of mana, and the Walrus punch there. Fnatic be able to finish him off. Buyback from Storm Spirit. Realizes his team needs him to turn this one around. Ohio keeping himself alive. He's got a fair few decay stacks, and there we go. KYXY zipping straight back into the fight. He'll find one. Who's he going to go for? He's going to go for Horst here, pulling him in. They've lost Dendy. They've lost Seneko. Neither of these heroes with buyback available. This KYXY buyback might just win the game here for Fnatic. He's looking for a Horst here. Going forward. Will he be able to get it? Artstyle doing what he can to keep him up. Artstyle's out. Pig. Pigs don't help people live. They help people eat. And that's going to be it. Potentially 3 heroes down on Navi. Fnatic stuck in the tree line. They're looking for him. Artstyle trying to do what he can to keep his team alive. He says, guys, I'm trying my best here. It's not going to be enough. Fnatic will get a shuriken to the backside. Buyback from Artstyle, but it's a Dazzle trying to defend a base against 3 very, very angry members of Fnatic who are going to look to take the bottom set of racks and potentially more because buybacks are not on the menu for Navi.
Dear God, man. Between Keswick and KYXY,
That
they
buyback.
totally totally carried that fight. That CM ulti did so much work. No buybacks on Navi. Fnatic, they're going straight for the throne. That fight looked so good for Navi in the start. That song, completely isolating Mushi with his BKB and killing him straight away 2 minutes off the map. Nothing he could do. He basically sat on the sidelines and watched his team pretty much carry him to victory. I mean, that fight was completely nuts. KYXY and Keswick, OP.
That Storm buyback, that was game winning. I mean, Navi, they haven't tapped out yet. I mean, it must be frustrating to get to 17 minutes in. Navi.
The bounty buys a book. Johnny buys book in their base and pops it to push.
Johnny.
Good game, well played, comes out from Navi.
It was always good at literature.
How did Fnatic actually win this game? Like,
wow.
It looked so bad for them after a while.
Seneko, hats off to him. He did very well in terms of transitioning into that carry role. But at the end of the day, the plays from Fnatic, they brought their A++ game. At the end of the day, the decisions they made at the end
the two buybacks
were incredible. Yeah.
The buyback from Mushi, which forced Seneko to buy back along with Havost, that was the thing that set everything in motion. Because then when KYXY had his buyback, they killed the 2 cores again right outside of Navi's space, and that was enough for them to take the win.
Incredible stuff. And what a series as a whole. Obviously, that was the second game. They're leaving the series 1-1 between the two sides. Navi able to take the first game, and what was a pretty incredible game that if you guys obviously watch on the mainstream didn't catch it, I do advise you watching if you're a fan of the Queen of Pain, because that was a textbook how to play Queen of Pain from Dendy. But game 2, what a matchup. 17 minutes in, Fnatic take the victory. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that as much as myself and Andy did. And we're going to head now back over to the analysts to hear what they've got to say about that epic game.